Hello, welcome to the Web Monkey Show. My name is Alex, and let me also say welcome to the year 2019. This is actually the very first tutorial that I'm going to be publishing for the year 2019, and I felt what better tutorial to publish than one on one of the best page builder plugins for WordPress, which is Elementor. It actually pains me to say that I've never done a tutorial on how to use Elementor before, and I felt it's about time. Let me make a full tutorial on how you can use Elementor to build any kind of website that you desire. So basically, in this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how you can use Elementor to build a website, a one-page website for a fictional company known as the White Hat Hackers. Basically, these guys are ethical hackers who help companies fight against hackers and cyber criminals. So we're going to be building this one-page website to promote this business. Now, with Elementor, you do have the free version of Elementor, but you also have the paid version of Elementor. In this course, this tutorial is going to be divided into two sections. The very first section, we're going to make use of the free version of Elementor to build out this particular website you're looking at right now. You can see we've got the logo, we've got the menu, we've got the video playing in the background, you've got the major headline there saying, "Don't get hacked." And then, of course, we're going to have your typical content for business websites. What is the company? What is their objective? The kinds of services that they render, why you might want to work with the company. You will have a meet the team section. You're also going to have our clients, testimonials, and then, of course, a counter indicating why you might want to keep your website secure, just something like that to promote the business. And then finally, the contact section where we're going to have an email address and social media icons. We're going to build this site using the free version of Elementor, and then if you decide to go and purchase the paid version of Elementor, I'm going to teach you how you can enhance this website and turn it into this particular website. Now, with this paid version of Elementor, we're going to build out this same website, but now you can begin to see the differences. With the paid version of Elementor, we're going to create this animated headline, which is much better than the static headline that we had in here. This one is going to be so much better. We're going to have a countdown timer, which you can't see now, but trust me, it's there. We're also going to rework the services section. Now you're going to have this cool effect where when you hover over the image, the actual service appears behind the image. We're going to rework the Why Walk With Us section as well. Now you can see we have this really cool zooming in effect and zooming out effect with the background image. You're also going to have the text indicating why companies should do business with the whitehathackers.com. There will also be some other adjustments, and then finally I will show you how you can add your contact form and Google Maps using the paid version of Elementor. So whether you're trying to use the free version of Elementor or you're ready to go with the paid version of Elementor, I do have something for you in this tutorial. And by the way, if you decide to purchase the paid version of Elementor, please, I am an affiliate for Elementor, which means that if you use my affiliate link, I will get a small commission. You will find the link in the description box below. Now, one last thing to mention before we begin is the fact that this tutorial is actually part of my Elementor course. I have this course on Udemy, on Skillshare, and also on my own private platform. You will find the links in the description box below. But in my Elementor course, you're going to learn so much more. You're going to learn how to build an entire website with Elementor, how you can build your posts with Elementor, and so much more. So if you're interested, you can check the links in the description box below for more information. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. Alright, so before we begin this incredible journey towards learning about Elementor, I wanted to give you a very quick preview of my current setup. Right now, I do have my site called the whitehathackers.escopedia.com, and this is basically a fresh installation of WordPress. I don't have any pages, 0 pages. For posts, I do have one post, which is a sample post that SiteGround will create for you if you choose to host with them. For plugins, I only have the Elementor plugin installed and active. You will note that I also have the Elementor Pro, which is installed but not active. Like I said, we will build the website first using the free version of Elementor and then proceed to use the Pro version. So you can go ahead now and simply download, install, and activate the Elementor plugin. Over here, you can either go straight to wordpress.org/plugins Elementor, or you can just go to elementor.com and download the free version of the plugin. Now, in terms of themes, I will be using the 2019 theme, but to be honest, in this course, the theme is not going to matter. It's not going to matter if you're using the 2019 theme or the 2017 or the 2016 theme. It doesn't matter because we're going to build the website purely using Elementor. We might use one or two additional plugins to add some functionality, but in terms of themes, it's not going to matter at all because, again, whatever theme you choose to work with, it's not going to play any role in the setup and the design of our WordPress website. So that is it. Join me in the next class where we will now begin to officially work with Elementor. Before we begin building out content with Elementor, I wanted to walk you through the general settings real quickly. So when you install Elementor, you will see the tab in here that says Elementor, and you have access to all these tabs. The very first one here is My Templates. Now with Elementor, you have the ability to either create your page templates, which you can then save and reuse over and over again, or you can also import templates. We'll take a look at this a bit later. You've got the settings, and on the general, you can choose the kinds of post types you want Elementor to have access to. Typically, you want to choose every available option in here. You can also choose to disable the colors and fonts that Elementor will provide if you want to stick with those that your theme provides. So you can check these two boxes, but like I said earlier, we're not going to be making use of any themes, settings, or options. We're going to be building our site primarily with Elementor. So I'm not going to check any of these two boxes. And then you can also opt in for usage data tracking if you wanted to. On the style in here, you can set major changes as to how your website will look like. So you've got the default generic fonts, which means if you don't choose a particular kind of font family for a particular piece of text, sans serif will be the default that will be used. Feel free to come in here and add your own chosen fonts. The content width, again, you can determine how wide the width of your website will be in here. The default is 1140. I'm going to stick with that. And then, of course, you can choose the space between widgets. And if you're into CSS, you can choose the what kind of selector your stretch sections will fit to. You can also choose a particular class for your page title sector if you wanted to. And then for responsiveness, you can choose the breaking points for your tablet and mobile. Don't you worry if you don't understand what these breakpoints exactly are. I'll talk about them a bit later. And then you also have the option of opening your image links in a light box. Again, don't worry. If you don't know what a light box is, I'll show you exactly what that looks like. Lightbox is actually pretty cool, so I would recommend you keep this checkbox ticked. Okay, so that's it for the general. That's it for style. Under advanced, the only thing I wanted to show you here would be the switch editor loader method. By default is disabled, but you can choose to enable it, and you'd only want to do this if you're having some sort of difficulty, technical difficulty that is using Elementor. You can switch this to enable, and you will be provided with certain information, and that information you can provide either to your web hosts or the developers of Elementor. So that's it on those settings. Now for Role Manager, you can determine who has the ability to edit pages, posts, content with Elementor. So if for some reason you don't like your contributors, you can come in here and simply say no access to the editor, and your contributors will not be able to use Elementor on your website. So that's what the Role Manager will do. Under tools, most of this stuff here is pretty advanced stuff, but you've got something here called the sync library. So what happens here is every day your plugin will automatically try to sync with the Elementor library, and the Elementor library is basically where all the features and latest updates of Elementor are in. So if there's a new feature that's been added, a new kind of tool that's been added to the Elementor library, your plugin every day will sync itself so that it can import that latest change. However, if for some reason you are racing against time and you need to get the latest version of Elementor or the latest tool from Elementor as quickly as possible, you can come in here and manually sync your library. But again, I don't know why you would ever want to do that. All right, under replace URL in here, if you're changing the address of your website, you can come in here and do that. However, I'll strongly recommend that you make a backup of your database before doing this. You've got something here called the version control, which is an excellent tool provided by Elementor. Should in case you've updated to the latest version of Elementor and for some reason that update ends up breaking your website, you can come in here and go back to the previous version of Elementor, and I think this is just fantastic. It's a really, really fantastic tool. Now over here, you can also opt to become a beta tester. If you're not familiar with this concept, typically whenever developers of a plugin are working on a new version of that plugin, they might want to release the beta version to people so that they can test and provide feedback. So if you're feeling bored or you're a geek like me, you can choose to opt in and become a beta tester, and you'll be notified whenever a beta version of a plugin is available for you to spend time testing out. You've got the maintenance mode, and in here you can actually choose to provide a coming soon or a website under maintenance page, and you can come in here and choose those two. And then when you choose one of them, you can then choose who has access to this particular page, or rather who has access to the backend, who can actually see the real content of the website. But to actually enable this, you will need to create a template. Don't worry, we'll take a look at this a bit later in the course as well. And then finally, we've got the system info. Again, most of all this stuff is technical jargons, and you might just only need to provide any of this information if you're trying to troubleshoot a particular problem. And then of course you got the getting started, knowledge base, yada yada yada. And then custom fonts, you can add custom fonts, but that is only available with the Pro version of the plugin. So, well, that is it for the general settings and tools with Elementor. Let's now begin to build out content using this fantastic plugin. Let's now create our homepage using the Elementor plugin. Now, you can either just go to your dashboard and click on the Create New Page under the Elementor section, or you can simply go to Pages, click on Add New, and with Elementor active, you will see this big blue button that says Edit with Elementor. Click in there, and this will take you to the Elementor interface. And okay. So right now you can see that my page title has been named Elementor #11. For some reason, yours might be different, doesn't matter. But this is basically the Elementor interface. Now, under elements over here, this are basically the building blocks which you can use to create content on your page. So you've got the basic elements, you've got the general elements as well. And then of course you also have access to the WordPress widgets, and naturally you will have more access with the Pro version of the plugin. But the basic elements and general are more than enough for you to create some really awesome looking pages. Now down here, you will notice that we have this gear button. I'm going to click on the gear button right here. It's for settings. And in here, this is where we can now add the page title. So I'm going to call this home. All right, it's going to be the home page. The status, we'll leave it on draft, no featured image. I'm going to hide the title as well. We don't need to display the title. And now in here, under the page layout, you have access to 3 different layouts. You have the default layout, you've got the Elementor canvas, and then you've got Elementor full width. The difference between these two is that with Elementor full width, you're basically going to include the header and the footer from your theme. However, you will be able to create content that goes full width on your website using Elementor. But with Elementor Canvas, we are not importing the header or footer from the theme. We're just going to start off with a blank template, and that's exactly what we're going to do, because remember I said we're going to build everything using Elementor. So I'm going to choose the Elementor Canvas, and I'm simply going to go ahead now and publish the page. And it says, hooray, your document is live, have a look. We can either click on have a look or click on this eye right here, and you can preview your changes. So this is exactly what you should see right now, this big white empty screen. And this is exactly what we want, because like I said, we're going to build everything using Elementor. Before I round up this video, I just want to give you a very quick tour of some of the options in here. You see this button right here, the one with the circles, with the 9 circles, this would always take you to the page where you can access your elements. And then this one right here, the one that looks like a menu, with this, you can choose your default colors and fonts, which we'll take a look at in the very next class. But from here, you can also exit to the WordPress backend. I know you probably might want to do this every now and then, go to your backend, maybe make 1 or 2 changes. So this is where you would be able to access your WordPress dashboard. So that is it. We have successfully created our homepage. And before we actually round this up, let's go to settings, go to reading, and make sure that we have set our homepage to display the homepage. Let's save our changes. Make sure this is actually working, and cool. All right, so our homepage has been set to the homepage with no content. Join me in the very next video where we'll now set our default values. What we're going to do now would be to set up our global values, and what I mean is we can set default font families for our text, and we can also set default colors of our text, which we will be working with. So a question you might have here is, why set up global values? What is the advantage of this? Well, the advantage here is that once you set global values for your font family and your colors, Elementor will continually use those values for the specific text that you've set those values to continuously over and over again. What I mean here is, say for example, you set your H1 to be of a particular font family and a particular font color. Whenever you add an H1 tag on your website, Elementor will automatically use that font color and family. So you don't have to constantly go to all your H1 tags and set the color there, set the family there, go to another H1 tag and repeat the process. So global values is just you adding your values once and for all, and Elementor using those values over and over again. You can always, of course, choose to change those values, change those global values, or you could just change the individual values for specific tags when you want to. So to do this, I'm just going to click on the Edit with Elementor link right here and just go straight to our Elementor interface. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the menu button right here. All right, click in there. And now in here, we've got under style, we've got default colors. All right, so I'm going to click in here. So over here right now, by default, you've got these 4 colors, which are used for your primary, secondary, text, and then accent. Primary will simply mean your major H1 and H2 tags. Secondary, I believe, will be H3, H4 till H6, and then text refers to the actual text of your main content, your body text. And then accent could be used for things like lists, I think headers for your accordion styles and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this palette right here, this one. You could choose any kind of palette that will go with your design. So all you need to do, like I've just done, it will just be to click on any of them. And then you can now begin to change the actual colors on the inside. So for example, I want to change the primary color over here. I'm going to change this over here to this version of orange. I like this particular color. So I'm going to click outside now. I'm going to do the same for secondary as well. I'll paste that color right there. Click outside. And then for the actual body text, I'm going to go with pure white. FF. All right, so that's for white. And then for the accent, honestly, I actually haven't decided on what color I want to go with this one. I guess I'll just go with the same orange for now. I could always come back here and change this. All right, so this is basically my color palette. Not the most decorative. It's just 2 colors, orange and white, but this will do me just fine. I'm gonna hit apply for that, and then I'm gonna go back in here, go to default fonts. All right, now I am by no means an expert web designer. I can build websites, but I'm not exactly the best designer out there. But from what I've learned from most web designers I've worked with is that you typically want to go with 2 different font families, one for your actual content, your text, and then one for your headers. All right, so primary headline, I'm gonna go with the railway. I'm gonna go with railway for the primary headline. The weight, of course, refers to how bold it's going to be. We'll stick with 600 for now. Secondary headline, I'm going to go with railway as well. All right. Stick with the 400 for the weight. I think that's okay. Body text, now I'm going to go with Montserrat for this one. All right. I'm going to go with Montserrat. Weight is 400. Cool. For the accent text, maybe we can stick with Roboto. I don't know. We might change this a bit later, but This is what I'm going to go with for now. I'm going to hit apply. And that is it for our fonts. Now let's go back to the menu, and we've got the color picker over here. And this is where you can choose the colors that you want to work with whenever you're adding text to your content. So you can choose whatever color palettes suit your fancy. I'm gonna go back, and well, that's pretty much it for the global colors and fonts. We've also got the global settings, and this is exactly what we saw a few videos ago, where you can choose your content width, choose the default generic fonts, and so on. What else do we have here? We've got the dashboard settings. So if you want to go back to your backend, as usual, this is where you would go to. You can view your page, exit the dashboard, and that is pretty much it. Now, unfortunately, we can't set universal background colors or background images for our pages, but we can set background colors or even images for our individual pages. So to round this video up, I'm going to add the black background specifically for our home page. And to do this, I'm going to come down here to where you got the settings for the page, and I'm going to go over to style. And then under style, we can choose two different kinds of backgrounds. We have the classic, we have the gradient. I'm going to go with the classic, and then we can choose an image, or we can go with a color. I'm going to go with the color, and of course I'm going to go with black. And well, there you go. We've added the black background color to our homepage. Hit update. Let's take a look at what we have now from the front end. And that is it. All right. So now we are ready to begin adding content to our website. Okay, the moment of truth has arrived. Now we're going to add content to our website using Elementor. And what we're going to add would be a header with some text. And in the background, we're going to have a video playing. Now, we're going to ignore the actual real header for now, which would contain the logo of our website and quite possibly also a menu. We'll ignore that for now. We'll add that much later. So let's just go ahead now and add the text and the video background. So I'm going to click on edit with Elementor. And all right, so this is what you are going to see. All right, you're going to see this black background, and you're going to see in here where you can drag a widget into this particular box. The way the whole thing works here is this, all right? Basically, you've got your elements to the left, which you can drag and drop. So you have different elements, like one for an image, one for a video, button, heading, and so on. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm simply going to drag the header, and I'm going to drop it inside of this particular section. I'm going to drop that in there. And there you go. All right, so by default, you're going to have some text here saying add your heading text here. I want you to pay very close attention to what we now see on the screen. Over here in blue, you can see we've got three different buttons. You've got one that says add to section, one that says edit the section, and then another one that says delete this section. Inside, you're going to find in kind of like darkish gray, you will see this button that says edit. This is for the column. All right. And now over here to the right, you will see another blue button with like a pen. This is to edit the actual text. So the basic structure of an Elementor page is as follows. First, you have your section, and then inside of that section, you're going to have a column. It is now inside of that column where you'll now have your element, whether it's an image, a video, or some text. Now, it's possible to create more advanced structures by simply dividing the section into several columns, and then inside of those columns have even more columns or inner columns, and then finally in those inner columns you could then have your elements. I'm going to change the default text in here right now to don't get hacked. Okay. All right. So for our header under content, we have access to a link. We can add a link specifically for this piece of text. We can change the size, add a tag, change the element if we wanted to. Under style, we can change the default text color of orange and give it a very specific color if we wanted to. We could also change the typography as well, make changes to the default font family, which is Ubuntu, which we've set for our headers. We can change the size, the weight, transformation style, and so on. You have access to all of these wonderful options. And then, of course, you can add a text shadow, and then blend mode I will take a look at this much later in the course. And then under advanced, you have access to things like margins, paddings, entrance animation, which we will take a look at in just a moment. You can also add a background. Two types. You can either go with a classic, where you can add a background color specifically for the text, or add an image. You can even control what happens when you hover over this particular text. You can add border as well. Responsive, we'll take a look at this a bit later. All right, that's it for this particular text. Let's add the video to our background now. And to do this, I'm going to click on the button here that says Edit Section. All right. Now, for the section, we have three different tabs. We have Layout, we have Style, we have Advanced. On the Layout, you can control how wide you want the contents of this particular section to go. Now, there is an option in here to stretch the section, but I don't want to go into details about this. What you should concern yourself with are the two options in here where you have boxed and then you got full width. With boxed, you're basically saying you don't want the width to go full, or you don't want the contents of the section to go full width. You want to keep it at a controlled width. So in such an instance, you can come in here right now and indicate how wide you want the section to be. Or you could simply go with full width. And in this case right now, you're basically saying, I want the contents of this section to extend to the ends of my screen. And you can control the columns gap. We'll take a look at this a bit later. And then for height, you can set the height to fit the screen or give it a minimum height as well. Content position, you can position your content either in the middle, the top, or the bottom. And on the style, this is where we're going to add our video. Note now that for the background type, you can go with the classic, which would be a color or an image. You got a gradient, but now you also have a background video. Click on background video, and in here it says YouTube link or video file MP4 is recommended. So you can either add a link directly from YouTube or Vimeo, but if you have a video in your media library, well, it's very easy to add it. I have one in my media library, so I'm going to come in here right now, click on the menu button, and I'm going to click on the dashboard settings. This will open up a new tab. I'm going to go to my media, click on library. And this is my video. I have a video of this serious looking individual staring at a screen right there. So I'm simply going to go ahead now and grab the URL in here. Let's copy that, copy. And then I'm going to go back to my Elementor. Go back to edit the section link, go to style, background, and then in here for the video link, I'm going to go ahead now and paste that. Oh, yes. Okay, so we can kind of see his mouth and nose, at least. But with the video right now, we can control when we want the video to start, the start time, the end time as well. We can also add a background overlay. But let's just see how this looks like. Okay, I'm going to hit update right now. Okay, and let me just close this media library. Let's now preview our page and see what we have. Let's preview the changes. Okay, all right, yeah, that's done. We are good to go. And no, I'm joking. This isn't very good. Okay, this video is too short. We need to make it a bit taller, because all we can see right now is just the guy's nose and mouth, and well, we need something better than what we currently have. All right, I'm gonna go back to edit with Elementor. Okay, and wait for this to load. All right, let's go back to edit the section. I go back to the height in here. So for default, I'm gonna change this right now to minimum height. Okay, this is much better right now, and I'm going to make this a little bit taller. Let's go with 500 for now. 500 pixels. Okay, all right. Now for the text, I can click inside of the actual text area and it will take me straight to the area where I can now edit the particular header. So I'm going to go with style, and for the typography, I'm going to click in here and I'm going to change the size right now. We're going to go all the way, make it really big. All right, let's go with 115. And I'm going to click in here where we have the text area. I'm going to press enter. So now we have don't get hacked going to 2 lines. Let's update this. And from here, I'm going to click on the preview changes. Let's see what we have. And okay, not bad at all. The video looks much better, but I still want to make this a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go back, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to edit section. We're going to change the height now to 640 pixels, make it really big. And then for the text area, I'm going to click inside again. I'm going to go to style, and we're going to go with a size of 170 pixels, make it really big. Update. Now let's go over here to see, and by the way, you can see that the changes have taken effect. So whenever you make changes to Elementor and you hit update, if you have a browser or a window currently displaying the page you're editing, it will refresh automatically. So you can see right now, cool, that our video is much bigger right now. We've got our text, and I like this. Let's quickly add some animation. So I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to click on the text area. Now, to add animation for our heading, I'm going to go over to Advanced, come over here to Entrance Animation, and you've got different types of animation you can play with. You've got the fading left, you've got the zoom in, and so on. The one I want to use is the light speed in, and it's the one right here, light speed in. Okay. Now you can also control the duration, like how quickly do you want the animation to run. Do you want to go with slow, or do you want to go with fast? Okay, I'm going to stick with the normal. You can also add your animation delay if you wanted to, but that is it for our text. I'm going to go to the edit section area, and what I want to do right now is to go to style, and what I'm going to do is to scroll all the way down here to where you have the background overlay. I'm going to click in there, and I'm going to add a background overlay of black. So I'm going to click on the color right here. I'm going to choose black as the overlay. Okay. Oh, sorry. All right. So from here right now, I can change the opacity. I can either go with like full opacity, no one can see anything, or I can just make it about, let's scroll a bit down here to 0.42. Okay. I think this is pretty cool. Yep. I like this. So let me go ahead now and update this. Now let's see what we have. Refresh, and boom, don't get hacked. Pretty awesome, right? So that is it. This has been a long video, but we've successfully been able to add our background video, and we've added some text as well with some animation and some overlays. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one where we'll continue to build out our website. Alrighty, so welcome back, and in the previous video we successfully added our background video with the heading "Don't Get Hacked." So now we're going to add a second section, and this one is going to be a little bit more advanced because it's going to be a 2-column section, and we're going to have one image in the very first column and then 2 elements in the second column. So let's do this. I'm going to click on Edit with Elementor, of course, and I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to click on the plus button right here, click in there. And I'm going to choose this particular structure. You can see it's 2 columns. So I'm going to click in there. So now we've got 2 columns, one on the left, one on the right. Cool. Now the one on the left, I'm going to go to my elements, and I'm going to drag the image element. I'm going to drag that in here. And by the way, note how we have a light blue background that pops up when we try to add an element. That tells us that the column is ready to receive that particular element. So there you go. I'm going to release my mouse, drop the image in there, and I'm going to choose my image from my media library, and I've got a few of them. By the way, if you're wondering where can I get like really cool images to use on my website, check out our pixabay.com. They've got thousands and maybe even tens of thousands of free images you can use on your website on various kinds of topics. So right now you can see I've typed in cybersecurity, and these are all the images I can use for free on my website. So as an example, if I liked this one right here with the hand, I can click in there, and then over here to the right, I'll just go to free download, choose my size, and that is it. So check out pixabay.com today. All right, I'm going to choose this image right here. It looks very techy, mysterious, dark. I like it. I'm going to click on Insert Media. Now, for the image size, we can choose from a variety of sizes. I'm going to go with the large size because it's pretty big. No captions, no alignments, no links, no styling. Let's just leave that as it is. I'm going to go back to my elements block. And now for our second column, I'm going to drag the heading in here and I'll paste that right there. Now for the text, I'm going to say, what is WHH? Like, who are these guys? All right. Okay. No styling, nothing else. Let's just close that. Now I'm going to drag a second element, which is going to be the text editor. Now check this out. All right. I'm dragging, it's going, it's passing the first column, it's past the first column, it's gotten into the second column now. As you can see, I can either drop the text editor just beneath the header, or I can go above the header. So you can see the difference between the two. That's below, that's above. I'm going to drop this below, and now we have some text. I'm going to remove all of this, and I'm going to paste some text I already copied right there, and it says, established in 2014, we're a group of white hat hackers, and our mission is to, blah, 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 fight crime. Hackers beware, we are here, and your game is over. Ooh la la. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and update this, and let us see what we have. Let's preview our changes, and not too bad. Okay, this is cool. However, we can improve this. You can see right now that the image is a bit small in comparison to the height of the text on the right. So let's do this. I'm going to go back in here, and the first thing I'm going to do is to expand the width of our section. Let's go full width. Let's update, and let's see how this will look like now. This looks better. We're getting there. Now, the text is a bit too bold for my liking, so let's go to our global fonts right here, and we're going to change the body text, the weight from 400 to 300. Let's do that. Let's apply the change. And okay, let's come in here right now. Let's refresh this page and see if that has taken effect. Okay, it's taken effect. Now the text is a bit lighter. I like that. Okay, this isn't too bad at all. Let's see, maybe the text, we can change the actual size of the text also. Let's go back in here, go to style, go to typography. For the size, we're going to go with, let's see, 21 pixels maybe, or 20 pixels, 18 pixels. I think this is cool, 18 pixels. All right, let's update that. Let's see how this looks like. Scroll down, and okay, this is actually too small. Let's go back in here. Change this back to, let's go with 21. All right, I think 21 should be just fine. Let's update. And now let's see how this would look like. And okay, all right, not too bad. Now, before I round this up, you may have noticed a small issue, and that is the fact that the actual text for our headers doesn't match what we have in the editing section. Right now, you can see the way our W looks like right here. It's different from what we have over here. So clearly, this is a different font. This is not the railway font that we've set as our default fonts for our headers. Remember when you came in here and we set our primary headline to have railway as the font family? So primary headlines is H1 to H6 actually with Elementor. That's your primary headline. So it's very obvious that this is not railway. So if you're having this kind of issue, what you need to do is to simply go to your back end. You want to go to your Elementor, go to Tools, and then from Tools where you have Regenerate CSS, you want to go ahead now and click Regenerate Files. Basically, you're telling Elementor to like refresh all the CSS changes to your website. That's basically what that means. So now let's take a look and see if there is a difference. And well, there you go. Now you can see that we now have the W looking exactly as it should. This is the railway font in action. So awesome. Final change before we round this up. I'm going to center our text. Let's center it actually. I think that might be better. Alignments to the center. And for the actual size of the text itself, I'm going to go to Style, click on Typography, and let's go with 60 pixels. 60 pixels. Make it quite big. Let me scroll down here. 60. And we can even change the tag from H2 to H1. Let's go with H1. Update that. And there you go. So let's see how this looks like. Now let's scroll down and see what we have. And well, not bad. That is it. All right, so that's it. We've successfully created our second section with the image, the header, and some text. If you have any questions about this or what we've done so far, do let me know. Thank you for watching the video, and I will see you in the next class. Before we progress any further, I quickly wanted to draw your attention to two different tools that you might find useful when working with Elementor. And the very first one here is going to be down here called the History tool. And when you click in there, you're going to have access to two different tabs, Actions and Revisions. Actions will show you the changes that you're currently making to your document. Now, because this page has been saved, I haven't made any changes thus far. The history here is empty. With revisions, on the other hand, this will be for changes that you've made a while ago. So maybe changes that you've made up until the time you actually saved your document. And you can see right now that we've got changes all the way till 1 day ago, 18 hours ago, 56 minutes ago. So to restore a previous version, just click on the time. So we're restoring back to 1 hour ago, and this was how our page looked like an hour ago, and that's exactly how you would work with the Revisions tab and also with the Actions tab as well once you begin to get the history available. The second tool is going to be the Navigator. This is more applicable. Let me just refresh this page first. Make sure this is refreshed. And all right. So with the Navigator, this would be more useful when you have like very long pages with lots of content. This quickly helps you to locate columns or elements on your page. So as an example right now, the Navigator tells us that we have two sections, and if I clicked on the second section, I can expand it. We have the first column, we have the second column right there. So if I click on any one of these elements, to the left, you will now see we'll be taken straight to where we can edit that particular element. And there is also an eye to the right of each element in here. I can choose to hide that particular element just to see what the page would look like. So there you go. And that's it for the Navigator. It's a very useful tool for quickly identifying and tracking down elements or columns on your web page. So that is it. Thank you for watching. And now let's continue building our website. All right, the next section we're going to build will be the services section. And over here, what you're looking at is actually a mock-up of what we're going to be building. And you can see we've got services as the main headline. And then we're going to have 3 columns on the very first section, and then another 3 columns in the second section. And you can see they are filled with images as well as text. So I know that this might be a little tricky, like how exactly would you create this kind of structure? Because really what's happening here is we have one big section that contains 2 sections, and each of those 2 sections have 3 columns in them. So what I want to do here is to show you how you could create this kind of structure. So let's go, let me just close this and go to our actual website. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead now and create the very first section by simply dragging the header in here. I'm going to drop that right there. All right. So this is going to be our very first section inside of the main section. Now for the second one, here's what I'm going to do. For the second section, I'm going to go back to our elements. I'm going to make use of the inner section element right here. I'm going to drag that, and I'm going to drop that just beneath the main header. And there you go. All right, so now we've got this section inside of the main section. But there is a small challenge. This is 2 columns. We're looking for 3 columns. Now over here on the structure, you do see that we can change the width of each particular column. We can go 33 by 66 or 66 by 33, but we can't, there is no option in here to add more columns. So how exactly are we going to add a 3rd column here? Oh wow, this must be a very, very, very difficult challenge. We probably need to do some like expert coding to get this done, but it's actually very, very simple. You know what you're going to do? Just right click right there, add new column. That's pretty much all you need to do. Just right click anywhere inside of that section, right click on your mouse, and then look for the add new column, and then simply add that column. That's all you literally need to do. It's so simple how some of these tasks can actually be achieved. They actually look very tricky at first, but then once you know what to do, it becomes so simple. All right, so to add the second section that will contain the next elements, you might be thinking, okay, well, then I'll have to go back to the elements in here, drag the inner section, and simply repeat the process. All you actually need to do is just to go to this first section in here, and then just simply right-click where you have the edit section, right-click in there, and then click duplicate, and there you go. We instantly now have 3 columns in the second section. So that's how to make use of some of these little tools that you have with Elementor. It makes your work so much faster, so much more convenient. Now, I might as well mention that with Elementor, you can actually be very, very precise with how wide you want each individual column to be. Right now, they're all at 33.3% of the width of the entire section. But if you dragged your mouse to the edge of one column right there, you can see the symbol now has changed. Let me just do that again. Right there. Once you send the symbol, that means you can now expand. You can either increase or decrease the width. So all you need to do is just click, and then you can then either move to the left, or move to the right, or move to the left. So you can be very, very precise with how you want your individual columns to be wide. And once that's done, you can simply just come in here, click on the reset structure button right here. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just click back in here. Then click on reset structure. Then it will take you back to the original width of each individual column. So that's how you can also increase and decrease the width of individual columns if you wanted to. So there you go. We've successfully created one main section containing one column that has a header, and then 2 inner sections that have 3 columns in each one of them. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching this. If you had any questions, do let me know. I will see you in the next class. Now that we've got the structure laid out for our third main section, I want to give you a small assignment. I want you to pause this training and try to replicate exactly what I have over here. So you can see I've got services centered in the middle, and I have got my images and my text in the individual columns. So I want you to try and replicate what you're seeing in here right now on your website. If you don't have access to these images, please feel free to use any images that you want. You can also use your own type of text. You don't have to follow or use the exact same words I've used in here. Just try to get your images set up and your text set up. Also, pay attention to the fact that with the text, it's centered in the middle of the column. It's not positioned at the top or at the bottom. It's right there in middle. So try to do that. So please take some time now, pause the training, try to get this done. And once you're done, you can then move on to the very next video where I'll show you how to actually provide this kind of content. Alrighty, I trust that you've tried your best to solve the assignment, and if you gave an honest attempt, well, congratulations, I'm proud of you. And if you didn't, well, shame on you. I'm just kidding. I know not everyone has time to make attempts at assignments and things like that, so it's okay. Let's try and replicate what we're seeing right now on our main website. So the first thing here is the services. Okay, we're going to go ahead now and add the services header, make it centered as well. So let's just do this. Going to click in here, and I'm going to say, let me just go over here, and I'm going to call this services. The alignment, we're going to take it to the center. Okay, let's update this. Looking good. And all right, so that's done with the services. Next right now is going to be our very first image. So nothing too complex in here. I'm going to click on the plus button right here to add a new element. I'm going to drag my image in here and drop it into the box. I'm going to choose my image, and it's the one with the silhouettes of people. So I'm going to insert my media. And all right, now here is something that you obviously most likely may not have done, and I also didn't give you any hints to this, but it's okay. For the image size, I'm not going to go with the large default size. I'm going to go with a custom size, and the custom size here will be 460 by 460. I'm going to apply that, and if you're wondering why have I gone with this particular image size, it's just with the benefit of a hindsight. I've tested out different sizes, and 460 by 460 looks to be the best for at the website, so I'm going to stick with that. All right, so that's it for the very first image. What else do we have in here? We've got the text. We perform ethical hacking, blah, blah, blah. All right, I'm going to copy this text. All right, so this is obviously going to be a text box. I'm going to go back to my elements. Let's drag the text editor in here first. All right, and I'm going to paste the text that we just copied right there. But then the header itself, the analysis, is going to be a different element. So I'm going to go back in here, go back to my elements, drag a header, and I'm going to dump it right in here just above the text. And there you go. So what was the analysis? Okay, analysis was the header. So analysis, and it's also positioned in the center. All right, so analysis right now is in the center. Now the text itself, the text size, we're going to change that. So let's go to style, and I'm going to go to the typography, and we're going to go with 30 pixels. So it's not too small, it's not too big. I like that as it is. And we're going to do the same for the text itself as well. We're going to go to style, and we're going to go to the alignment right there, center, and then typography. Let's go with 20 pixels. So it's not too small, not too big also. Cool. All right, so that's it done for the text. However, notice that it is centered or positioned in the middle of the column. So to achieve this, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the column button right here, click on it, and then in here for content position, we're going to go with middle. And there you go. So that's exactly how you can position content in the middle of your column. Note that we could do the same with this section as well. If we go to edit section right there, you have the exact same option in here to position your content in the middle. However, note that if you apply this change on this section, it will affect all the columns inside of that particular section. So be careful about making such changes on your main section. All right, cool. So that's it done for our first image and our first piece of text. The second thing right now, or the third element would be the same image, this one with the padlock. So what I'm going to do very quickly to achieve this is just to right click on our first image right there, copy, go in here and simply paste that image. And then from here, I'm simply going to go ahead right now and change the image to the one for the padlock, insert media, and there you go. So that's a very, very, very quick way to have achieved what we just did. And I'm going to do the same again in here for the fifth column. This is the one that has the guy staring at the computer. So I'm going to do the same right here. I'm going to right click again inside. I'm going to paste the image, go in here, just change that image to the guy, and there you go. Very, very, very quick, right? So these are some of the ways how you can very, very quickly just copy and paste content and then just edit the content as you need to very, very quickly with Elementor. All right, so the last two columns are going to be some more text. We've got consultancy, and then we also have prevention. All right, there's a few ways how you could quickly achieve this one as well. You could simply just copy the entire column in here. You could just go ahead and say, okay, copy, come in here, and then just right where you have the button right there, paste. You could do that. However, when you do this way, it will automatically create an additional column. So you could stick with this and then just simply go over here and delete the first column. All right. So that's one way how you can quickly achieve that. And we could do the exact same thing here in here as well. Again, right click on the column and then paste the additional new column. And then we can go back in here and then delete the empty column. So now there you go. Now we've got two new text columns. All we need to do right now would just be to change the text. So let's quickly do that. I'm going to go ahead right now and copy the one for consultancy. Go in here, click in here, remove the text, paste that. And then, of course, the header, we'll change this to consultancy. And then the last one is going to be prevention. All right, let's go ahead and copy this. And go back in here, click in here, and we're just going to go ahead and paste that. And then, of course, change the header to prevention. And there you go. Updates. And voila. Let's actually take a look and see our website right now and see what we have done. Okay, not bad at all. I like this. All right, we're getting there. So just a few things to point out. Whenever you go ahead and copy a column or you copy an element, basically you're going to be copying both the actual content and whatever styles that you may have applied to that particular element or column. Take, for example, look at this, all right? If I go back in here to the very first text column where we have the analysis, if I go over to style and I change the elements to left, okay? Now, if I right click on the text editor and I click copy, if I now go back, let's say to consultancy, right click on the text area, you can see we've got the option here that says paste style. So I can click on paste style and there you can now see that the text has also now shifted to the left because we copied the style of the very first text editor in here. So that's a very quick tip for you when it comes to copying and pasting. You can either copy just the style and the content, and you can choose to either paste both the content and style or just simply paste only the style. So let me just do my Control Z to go back to how it was. So, well, there you go. That's it. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you have any questions about what we've done in here, please do let me know. And let's continue. Welcome back. Hope you're enjoying the course so far. And in the previous video, we successfully added the services section where we highlighted the 3 main kinds of services that we offer. But now it is time to add the why work with us section. So ideally as a business, once you've told your clients the kinds of services that you offer, you typically want to tell them why they should do business with you. So here's exactly why: we're professionals, we got the experience, we're proven, and we are affordable. So we're going to create this section right now. So let's get this party started. I'm going to go over here to my back end. I'm going to drag the heading element right there, drop that in there, and our title here would be Why Work With Us? Because we're the greatest and the best. All right, why work with us with a question mark. Align that to the center. Cool. Let's update that. And then next is going to be the first text block right here with the icon. So for this particular kind of content, we're going to make use of an element known as the icon box. And so right here, it's under general icon box. But before we can actually begin adding these elements, we have to create a new section. So I'm going to click on the big red button right here, add the new section, which is now 3 columns. I'm going to click that in there. So for the very first column right here, I'm going to go and add the icon box, click and drag, drop that in there. And cool. So the icon itself right now is the ASL interpreting. That's the icon. And then for the text, I'm just going to go ahead and copy this text real quick. Copy that. The title is professionalism. So that professionalism. And then we've got our text. I'm going to paste that. Okay, cool. This right now is a little bit too big, so we'll have to change the size of the title as well as the text and also the color, because we want to make it white as opposed to orange. So let's go over here to style. All right, so under style, we can change the settings for the icon or the content. Let's start with the icon. It's orange, which is good, but we can also change the size, make it really big, make it really small. We're going to go with 50 pixels, I believe. All right, 45. Let's go with 45 pixels. 45 pixels. And then if you want, you can rotate to the left, to the right, 360, 180, however you want to play with your icon. Anyway, I'm not going to rotate it at all. We'll leave it on 0. That's for the icon. Now for the content, we want to change the color of the title. So we're on the title, as you can see. So I'm going to go over here to color, and we're going to make this just pure white. All right. And then for the typography, we're going to change the size. We're going to go with, I believe, 25 pixels. Should be about right. Let's just do this, 25 pixels. Okay. And then for the actual text itself, we'll go over here on the color. And we're gonna change the color just to make it a little bit different from the pure white, which is the title. I believe the one I was looking for was 999. That's the hexadecimal value. So this is kind of like grayish, darkish gray, just to make it different from the pure white of the main title. So that's that for the color. And then the size, we're gonna go down to, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm editing the title. All right, description, typography. The size here, where is it? Over here. The size is going to be 18 pixels. I think 18 should be about right. 18 pixels. Okay, let's update this. And let's see how this looks like. Let's preview our changes. Please be good. Let's see. All right, scroll down here. Why work with us? Okay, this is not bad at all. What do you think? I think this is good. Yeah, the size is all good. It's all legible. I like this. I like this a lot. So let's continue. Let's go back. So next now is going to be the proven solutions section. So I'm going to copy this. Now to add that, here's what I'm going to do, okay? I'm going to go back to my elements. I'm going to drag the icon box, and I'm going to drop that just beneath the first icon box here. You can see we have the blue background there highlighting, saying, hey, I'm ready to accept this new element. I'm going to drop that in there, and there you go. All right, so for the icon, that's going to be the bullseye. Bullseye is the icon. And then the heading right here is going to be proven solutions. Okay, and then the text, I'm going to paste that right there. All right. Okay, let's scroll down here and see. Okay, good. All right, so here's what we're going to do right now. For the actual styling, we're not going to go back in here and begin to change the color, change the size. All that's for amateurs, but we're professionals, okay? So here's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to right-click inside of the first icon box. Right-click right there. Just click copy. And then I'm going to go over here to the second icon box. Right-click again. And then I'm going to paste the style. And that's it. Very, very quick, right? So that's it. We've done the first column right here, professionalism, and then proven solutions. And then for the second main column right here, very, very easy. We're just going to add the image element, drop it right there. Let's choose our image. And of course, I have my futuristic looking image right here with the eye. Insert that media right there. And from here, you can see the size is large, 1024 by 1024. Okay. Now I'm going to align this right there in the center. So I'm going to go to edit column. And then from here, I'm going to change the content position from default to middle. Okay. We're going to go back to the actual image itself, go to style, and let's add some opacity, make it a little bit dark. And I think this is okay, 0.44. Let's go ahead and update this. And let's see what this looks like right now. Let's check this out. All right, let's go scroll down. And okay, not bad at all. I like this. So next up right now, we're just going to add the remaining two icon boxes. Welcome back, and as you can see, I have added the remaining two icon boxes for experience and affordability. Now, I also wanted to draw your attention to the fact that each icon box has exactly 3 lines of text. This is very deliberate, and it's a trick that many of us web developers and designers tend to do whenever we are building websites. It just helps with the alignment and makes the web page look a lot better when you have equal lines of text in each column. So a few things to do before we round this up. First, I'm going to expand the width of our section because this is very congested. So let's go to our edit page, and we're editing the main section containing all these columns in here. So we're going to change the content width from boxed to full width. Okay. And then for the columns gap, which would represent the gap between the columns, we're going to give this wide. Okay, wide. And then for the first column right here, I'm going to click on edit column. Let's give this an animation that will zoom in, or that rotate in down left. So it's like that. And then we'll do the opposite for the third column. That's going to be rotate in down right. Okay, I like that. Let's update. And now let's see how this would look like. Let's refresh this page. Come over here. Okay, this looks much better. The only last change right now we need to make would be the actual image itself. This is a bit too tall. So I'm just going to do this. Let's click on the image. Image size, we'll go with custom image. And so I've already set 500 by 500. So let's go ahead and apply that. And let's update this. And let's see how this will look like. Let's refresh this page. And this looks much better than originally. So that's it. We've successfully created the Why Work With Us section, and it's got the icon boxes, it's got the animation, it's got the futuristic looking image. Anyone who sees this website will be more than convinced that we are the best guys to go to for ethical hacking and cybersecurity. So that's it. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, do let me know. I will see you in the next class. Welcome back. And the next section we're going to build here would be the Meet the Team section. And this is a rough sketch of what we're going to build. We have 6 team members with their black and white images, the caption identifying their name as well as the position, and also some text just to describe who that particular person is. So let's get this done pretty quickly. I'm going to go over here to my back end, and I'm going to go ahead and create the section for the team members. So we're going to go with the 3-column section. However, we need to also add the section for the header, Meet the Team. So we can do this very simply. I can just drag a header down in here again. And now I can move the header above the section for the team members by simply clicking on the edit button for the particular section containing the header. Click, and then just drag that above the section with the 3 columns. So this is exactly how you can move sections from one position to another. All right. So for the header, let's just say really quickly, Meet the Team. And of course, we'll align that to the center. Let's go back to our elements. Now for the team members, very quickly, I'm going to go ahead and add an image for our first team member. And that's going to be Bruce Wayne himself. All right. For the image size, I'm going to go with a custom size of 275 pixels by 275 pixels. Let's apply that. And then we're going to go with a caption, and it's going to be a custom caption. And so the name here is going to be Bruce Wayne, and then CEO. Okay, let's go to style, and let's close one for image. Now for the caption, we're going to make some changes. First of all, we're going to change the text color. We're going to go with our orange color, which is E55512, to keep it standard. Okay, that's for the color. And then for the typography itself, let's click in here. And there's a few things we can do here. We can actually change the style from default. We can go with italic. And I think that's okay. We don't really need to change any other thing. I like this as it looks. Okay, cool. Let's go back to our elements. Next up right now would be the text editor. I'm going to click and drag, and I'll just drop that beneath Mr. Bruce Wayne. Let's come in here and just copy this text real quick. All right, let's go ahead and paste this text. So, founder of WHH and father of 2 beautiful kids, Bruce has a passion for fighting cybercrime and is a huge Batman fan. Who would have guessed? Okay, let's go to style. The text color, again, we're going to go consistently, 999. Make it a little bit dark. Alignment will be to the center. And then for the size, we're going to go, let's go with 20 pixels maybe. 20 pixels. Okay. Yeah, I think this should be fine. Let's update. And let's just take a quick look and see how this actually looks like. Let's scroll down here. Okay, not too bad. All right, Meet the Team, Bruce Wayne, CEO. Okay, cool. Now, to create the next one, which would be for Maurice Jones, I'm going to go over here, go to our elements, and then just very easily, again, I'm going to drag the image and then just drop that beneath the text for Bruce Wayne, drop the image right there, And then I can go back to my elements once again, simply drag the text editor and drop that beneath the image. So this is exactly what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to repeat the process for the second column and then the third column. So please go ahead, repeat the process, add your image, add the tags, and then add some text, do all your styling. So I'm going to do that for this 6 team, or rather the 5 remaining team members. I'm going to pause the video and I'll resume the video once I am done. Welcome back, and as you can see, I've added the remaining team members. We've got Clark Kent, Kelly Jean, we've got Morris Jones, Chloe O'Brien, and Stanley Jobson. Now, to round this up, you may have noticed that over here on the markup, when I hover over the image, it kind of moves up slowly, and if I remove the mouse, it goes back down. You see that? It goes up slowly, goes back down, goes up, goes down. So if you want to create something like this kind of effect, it's very simple. Simply go to the image and then go to style, and then under style you will see the hover option. Click in there, and then in here you can choose your hover animation right here. And the one that I had is the float. So you can see right there, it goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. But that's very quick. So if you want to reduce the speed, make it a bit slower, make it more elegant, you can add your transition duration. And I'm going to go all the way to 1.9. Let's go with 2 even. Let's go with 2. All right. So there you go. You can see right now it hovers up, goes down, it hovers up, it goes down. So you can apply the same effect to all the remaining images if you want to. Let me just update this real quick. And finally, for the section itself, I'm going to add its own animation. Let's go to advanced entrance animation. Let's see, zoom in. Yep, I love that. Zoom in. You can also reduce the duration as well. Slow, fast. We'll go with normal. I like that. Update. And okay, so let's see how this looks like now. Let's go back down here. Let's go all the way down. Meet the team. Awesome. I love that. I love that. That's pretty good. All right. So that is it for creating the Meet the Team section, and I will see you in the next class. The next section we're going to build right now would be the Our Clients section. And as a business, you want to showcase all the clients you've worked with to create some authority and credibility with your potential new clients. So how can we create this particular section with the images sliding to the left? Well, it's fairly easy. We're going to go over here to our back end. And first things first, let's add the header. And this is going to be our clients. All right, so let's make this an H3 tag. Let's center that. Now we're going to go against the default orange color. We're going to make this just pure white, just for variety purposes. So our clients. And then next here is going to be driving, well, it's going to be driving security for leading brands. So we're going to add a second header just underneath that. And this is going to be driving security for leading brands. Okay, so we're going to make this an H4 tag, align that to the center. We're going to change the color as well. We're going to go with the 999, driving security for leading brands. And this seems to be still a little bit big. So let's go back to content. Maybe make this an H5 tag. Okay. All right. Let's go back to style. Let's see what else we can do. Under typography, letter spacing, we can increase this space just a little bit more. Okay. I think this is, let's see, 4.3, 4.2, 4. We'll leave it on 4 for now. I think this should be okay. We'll leave it on 4 for now. All right, so our clients, driving security for leading brands. Okay, let's update this. Now, how do we create this carousel? You can see images in there, and ideally they should be moving from right to left. Let's do this. I'm gonna go back in here, and then I'm gonna go ahead now and drag a new element, and that element is going to be our image carousel right here. I'm gonna drag that. And I'm going to dump that right in there. All right. So in here right now, we can add our images. So I'm going to go to my back end and I've got all these images from all the companies we've worked with, all 5 of them. I'm going to create my gallery right there, insert the gallery. Now for the size, I'm going to go with the medium 300 by 300. And in here, you've got all different kinds of options. You can go with the slides to show. How many do you want to show at a time? The slides to scroll. Do you want to stretch the images? Do you want to show arrows and dots, or maybe none? Do you want to add links? Do you want to add captions and so on? Down here under additional options, again, you can go with the pause and hover, autoplay, infinite loop, and so on and so forth. So you've got all these options in here, and you can feel free to choose whatever options tickles your fancy, basically. So I'm going to go ahead now and update this. And let's check this out. Let's see what we have. Let's scroll all the way down here. My work with us, meet the team, our clients. And well, there you go. So really, there isn't any need to add any sort of animation in here, since the images are already moving themselves from right to left. It will just seem like an overkill if we start adding additional animation in there. So that's how to add the clients section, and I will see you in the next section. Welcome back, and now that we've displayed the clients section, it is now time to also display testimonials from actual people. This is another great way to build credibility, and this is kind of like the mock-up of what we're going to build right now: customer reviews, and then we'll have some testimonials in 3 different columns. So let's get this done real quickly. I'm going to drag my header in here, and I'm going to say customer testimonials. We're going to center that, keep the orange color. We're going to go back in here right now, and we're going to add a new section with 3 columns. And now I want you to guess which element we're going to use to display our testimonials. Not that much of a puzzle. We're going to use the testimonial tab. So I'm going to drag that, drop that in there. And for the text itself, I'm going to leave the default text as it is. I'm feeling kind of lazy, so I don't want to create like real text. So I'll just leave the default text as it is. Now for the image, well, I do have this guy who looks like a James Bond villain. He looks like one of those guys who wants to take over the world, you know. Anyway, I'm going to use this guy's image. So I'm going to insert that in there. And his name, let's call him Maximus Ivan. That sounds like the name of a villain, Maximus Ivan. And okay, so his job, we'll call him an entrepreneur, obviously, entrepreneur. And all right, so that is it. Now you can also decide to change the alignment to maybe the left or center. The image position, you can maybe take it to the top instead, so it's above the name of the person and the job title, or you can go with a side. I like a side a bit better. Now for the text itself, this is a bit too large, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to style, and then first of all, let's change the text color. We're going to go with the 999 so that it's a little bit dark. Okay, and then typography, we're going to go with size, and we're going to go with, I think, was it 18 pixels? 18 pixels seems about right. Maybe 20. Nah, let's go with 19. 19 pixels should be fine. So there you go. Let's take a look at the markup. All right, so the title is also, the job title is also a little bit dark, so let's do that. I'm going to change his name, first of all. So let's go to name, change the text color. We're going to go with white. And then for the job title, we're going to change the text color. We're going to go with the 999 again. Make that a little bit dark. And that is it. Let me update this and see how this would actually look like. Let's preview our changes. And let's see Maximus in action. I'm going to scroll down here. Customer testimonials. Okay, not too bad. All right. So as usual, I'm going to pause the video right now and add 2 more testimonials. Welcome back, and as you can see, I've added the two remaining testimonials for Raja Bing, an inventor, and Lee Hanad, a CEO. Now, I made two changes as well. The text, I decided to go with the full white color and also change the font size from 19 pixels to 16 pixels. I think this looks better this way. Now, one more thing to add, it will be the border. You can see each of our testimonials have the white border. So to do this, it's fairly easy. I'm going to go to the column containing the testimonial. I will go to style, and then under style, I will click on border. I'm going to choose my border type. We've got different types. I'm going to go with solid, and the width, I'm going to go with just, let's go with one pixel for the width. And then you would notice that the border also has like a curve right there on the edges, on the left, right at the bottom as well. You can see there's like a very slight curve. So to create this curve effect, we have to increase the border radius. So I'm going to go all the way to 5 pixels. And then the color itself for the border will be set to white, as you can see. So I'm going to update this. And let's see the effect that we have. Let's scroll down. And there you go. So you can't really see the bottom, but don't worry, it's because at the moment we don't have any content beneath the testimonials. That's why we can't see the border. Don't worry, once we add content in the next video, you will see the border. But that's how you can add the border to your testimonial. So very quickly, I'm just going to go ahead now and copy the column. I'm going to go to the second column right here, right click, paste the style. Do the same thing right here for the third column, paste the style. Let's update. Let's go back in here and see testimonials from real people. And okay, so you can see right now that we still have a slight change to make, and that's because there seems to be no space between the columns. The borders are pushed up right next to each other. So join me in the very next video where I'll show you how you can work with spacing. So far, so good. We've been able to add lots of different kinds of content to our web page, but you may have come to the conclusion that we need some space. We need to add some space in between our sections. I mean, take a look at Meet the Team, for example, and then our clients. There is very little space between our clients and then the last section of the Meet the Team area. You can see there's very, very little space right there. And even between our clients and customer testimonials, we can do with some space. We can create more space between these two sections. And then also our borders, the borders for our testimonials are right up next to each other. We also need to create space between the testimonials. And when it comes to spacing, there are two different kinds of space that you can create or work with. First, you can create space between an element and its immediate border container. And then second, you can create space between elements themselves. So between sections or between columns, you can create that kind of space. What we're going to do here is we're going to create space now between our columns for the customer testimonials. So to do this, let's go to the back end. And now over here, all right, note I'm going to click on the edit button for the very first column and then go to advanced, all right. Now, under advanced, you're going to see margin and padding. Now, if you've ever worked with HTML or CSS before, you probably already know what these two things are. But if you don't, let me explain. You see, margins and paddings can be used to create space. However, there's a difference in the kind of space that they create. If you wanted to create space between, let's say, the text of the testimonial and the border or the container, you would use paddings. So paddings are basically used to create space for the inner element. However, if you were going to create space between one column to the other, you would use margins. So basically, margins are used to create outer space. So let's check this out, okay? I'm going to go back to edit button for the column, go to advanced, and I'll check this out, okay? If I came in here right now and for the padding, I said, okay, I'm going to give a padding of 30. Note, by the way, that 30 has been applied to all the four sides, top, right, bottom, and left. I will explain why in just a moment. But note the difference. even though we've added padding to the right and the left, the borders are still right up next to each other. Although we now have more space between the top and the bottom, but you can see that padding did not push the borders of our first column away from the borders of the second column. See the difference? But if I came over here to margin and I give the exact same 30, now look at that. Now we've got more space between the borders of the first testimonial and the border of the second testimonial, but we now also have space between the top border of our first testimonial and then the heading, the customer testimonial heading. We now have more space because margins again will push a column away from its immediate surrounding columns or even the section containing that particular column. So that's the difference between margins and paddings. Now, the reason why the values are applied all together at once is because the values are linked together. So if I came in here and made this 31, it would apply to all because again, the values are linked. So if you want to unlink the values and give different values to each side, just unlink them and now you can add individual values to whatever side that you want it to go to. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to give paddings 0 because we're not working with paddings in here. And then for the margins, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a margin of 16 pixels on the right of the very first column. So there you go. Let me go ahead and update this. Let's jump in here and see the effect. Let's scroll down. And there you go. So we now have 16 pixels of space between the right border of the first column and the left border of the second column. So let's go back and add some more space in here again. I'm going to go over to the third column now, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to advanced. I'm going to unlink the value of the margin, and then I'm going to give a value of 16 pixels to the left. So now there is space between the right border of the second column and the left border of the third column. Let's go ahead and update that. And let's come in here and let's see the change. And there you go. So that's exactly how you can create space between columns in your section. Before I round this up, let's take a very quick look at our paddings. All right. So I'm going to go in here. So let's say, for example, I wanted to add some padding for our testimonials. If I came in here right now and I added padding, let's go with let's make this very obvious. Let's go with let's see, 30 pixels. All right. So now you can see we've added 30 pixels. It's on the left, it's on the right. If I unchained these and I started increasing the values for the right, you can see right now that the text is now being pushed from right to left. If I give this 0 on the other hand, and I came over here to the left and I give this a value of, let's say, 70. Now you can see that we have space on the left because now we're pushing our content to the right of its border. So this is exactly how paddings work. Paddings will affect the content itself inside of either a column or a section. So I'm going to go back and give these guys the value of 0 again, because again, we're not looking to create any space for our paddings. 0, put the links back together, and there you go. So that's basically the difference between paddings and margins. If you have any questions about this, please do let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next class. Let me now introduce you to a different way of adding space between your sections. And what I want to do here is to add some space between the Meet the Team section as well as the client section, and also between the client section and also the customer testimonials. You can see that all these sections are too close to one another. Now, technically, we could do this, all right? I could go to the Meet the Team section and I could add a margin at the bottom so it pushes our client's section down, or I could do the opposite. I could go to the client section, go to edit the section, go to advanced, and I could add margin at the top. So let's say, for example, I could go with 25 pixels. Now you can see our client's section has been pushed down by 25 pixels. So you could technically add margins either at the top or at the bottom of your sections. But there's a different way how we could also do this. So let me just go back to 0 in here. Let me just update. To create space, we could make use of a new element known as the spacer. It's right here. So what we could do easily is to drag this spacer element, and we could drop that just above the clients section. Note that it's going full width. All right, it's not in here. It's not under the Chloe O'Brien column. It's actually just above the clients header. I'm gonna drop that in there. And what this does is it just creates space. By default, the value here is 50, but we could go all the way to 1000 or whatever. So 50, I think, is actually a pretty good number. So that's it, 50. Let's go ahead and update this page, and let's see what we have. Let's scroll down here. And there you go. So now more space between Meet the Team and our clients, like that. Let's do the same now for our clients and customer testimonials. I'm going to go to our elements, and then just above customer testimonials, let's drag spacer and then drop that in there. And we're going to leave it on 50 pixels as well. No need to increase that. Let's update this. Let's take a look at what we have. Let's see how this looks like. And there you go, a lot more space now between our clients and customer testimonials. So that's how you could make use of the space element, or the spacer element. There's another one known as the divider. The difference between these two is that the divider would actually create a line, like a ruler, to create a line between your sections. Personally, I rarely ever use it, but if you wanted to, it's available for you to use. Before we round this up, I want you to pause for a moment and think of how you can create space between the customer testimonials text right here and then the borders of the actual testimonials themselves. You can see it's way too close. So pause the video for a second and try to figure out how you could create the space. Did you pause? Have you tried? Okay, well, I'm going to continue right now. So let's go back to the back end. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight to edit the header, go to advanced, and very simply, I'm going to add some margin at the bottom right there. Let's go with 25 pixels. 25 pixels. Okay, that should be enough. Let's go ahead and update. And I think that should be good. Let's check this out. Let's scroll all the way down. And there you go, 25 pixels of space between customer testimonials and the actual testimonials themselves. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next class. All right, we're getting to the finish line, and the next section we're going to add here would be a 2-column section with a number counter on the left and also a powerful message on the right. What am I talking about? Well, let's go ahead and add our 2-column section first of all. All right. Now over here, I'm going to go and add a new element known as the counter. I'm going to drag that. I'm going to drop that in here. So basically, we can create this kind of effect where a number starts from a certain, or rather, where the counter starts from a certain number and ends at a certain number as well. So the starting number is 0, and the ending number here would be 124. All right, let's remove cool number. We don't need that text. Let's go to style. Let's go to the typography. We're going to make this very big, 200 pixels, which is the maximum. All right. And then on the right, we're going to add the header, and the text is going to say the number of businesses attacked every hour. And then we're going to say, don't be one of them. All right, there you go. So a few things to change in here. Let's go to style. Text color, we're going to go with white. Let's go back to the content. Align that to the center, go back to style, go to typography. The size, 40 pixels, I believe should be enough. Let's go to the edit column section right now for the actual header. Click in there. And then the position of the content, we're going to go to middle. Okay. And then let's go back to edit the section. Let's add some margin at the top. Let's unlink this. So imagine the top here will be 25 pixels. And I think that should be it. Let's go ahead and update the number. Or update our new section. Let's check out the changes and see what we have. Well, let's scroll all the way down here. Meet the team, our clients, customer testimonials. And there you go. Okay, all right. So the number of businesses attacked every hour, don't be one of them. Let's add some animation in here for the section itself. Let's go to the engine's animation, and we're looking for one called the roll in, which is a special animation. And that's it. That's how it rolls in from the left. Let's go ahead and update. And let's take a look at what we have. Let's go all the way down here. And there you go. 124, the number of businesses attacked every hour. Don't be one of them. So that's how to make use of the number counter. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next class. Alright, so we've come to the footer now for our website. And this is the part where we're going to add some social media icons, and we'll also provide an email address which potential customers can use to reach out to us. So let's go over here to our back end. And first things first, let's go ahead and add our spacer element. So I'm going to drop that into our new section. We're going to go a bit more space here with 75 pixels. 75. Okay. Let's go back to our elements. I'm going to drag the header, drop that just beneath the spacer. And our header here will simply be contact. Contact. Let's give this an H5 tag, make it small, align it to the center. Let's go to the style. The text color, we're going to go with white in this case. Go back to the title, go back to typography. Now for the size, I'm going to make this, actually, let's go with 12 pixels. 12 pixels. Actually, that's small. Let's go with 20, actually. 20 pixels. Let the space in. Let's space this out as much as we can. 6.5 should be fine. Okay, 6.5. Nice. Next is we're going to go back. We're going to add a second header just beneath the contact. And for this one, we're going to say for inquiries, please send an email to. All right, let's go ahead and center this one. Go to our style. And for the text color, again, we're going to go with white. For the actual size itself, we're going to go all the way with 65 pixels. So make it really, really big. The weight, we could go with 900. Make it really thick, as you can see right now. All right, so for inquiries, please send an email to. And then finally, we're going to add the next header just beneath the for inquiries. And in here, we're going to simply add our email address, and it's going to be contact@whh.com. contact@whitehathackers.com. Let's go ahead and add the alignment to the center. And then we're going to change the size as well. Typography, size, let's go with 23 pixels. We can space this one out a little bit more as well. For the weight, let's go with 300. So it's not too thick. Actually, 300 is kind of small. Let's go with 400. How about that? 400. Okay, that's better. And that is it. Let me go ahead and update this. Let's see what this looks like. Let's go all the way down here. Contact. For inquiries, please send an email to contact@whh.com. Alrighty then. So the last thing we're going to add now would be the social media icons, and we do have the element for that. And where is it? It's right over here, social icons. So I'm going to drag that and drop that just beneath the contact@whh.com. So by default, we've got Facebook, we've got Twitter, we've got Google+, but we can add some other social media platforms. Let's see, what else do we have here? We don't want WordPress. Let's click in here. Let's find a different icon. We got YouTube. Okay, so we can go with YouTube, possibly. Let's add another one. Let's see what else do we have here. Let's look for LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn will be appropriate. So we got LinkedIn. All right, so that's it. We got Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So if this was an actual real website, you would have to click inside each icon, and then you can add your link right there. And of course, that will simply link the user to your Facebook page whenever they clicked on the Facebook icon. All right, let's go ahead now to the style. So in here, we could go with the official color, but since we don't have a colorful website, our website is basically just 3 colors, we're going to go with a custom color. And the primary color in this case right now is going to be black. And let's go with a secondary color. Let me just click outside in here. Secondary color would be grayish. All right. Okay. So there you go. So you can see this is exactly how it's going to look like. I like that. That's great. And then for the size, let's go with 30 pixels. That should be okay. Spacing, we could add some spacing as well to space them out a little bit more. 20 pixels. That's okay. And then we've also got the icon hover. So I'm going to click in there. So what will happen when we hover over the icons? Let's add an animation of grow. So it's going to grow. However, for the icon hover, the primary color will be black. Okay, and then let's see what the secondary color is going to do. Let's go with our default orange as a secondary color, and there you go. So that's exactly how it is going to look like, and I like this. All right, let's go ahead and update, and let's see what we have. Let's go all the way down here, and contact for inquiries, please send an email to this, and then we've got our social media icons right there. So just to quickly round this up, I'm going to add some space at the bottom right here just to push the social media icons a bit above the very bottom of the website. So of course we're going to go and use the spacer element. Let's just drop that right in there, leave it on 50, update, and let's see how our footer looks like. Let's scroll all the way down here, and there you go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So that's it. We've successfully created the footer for our website with an email and also some social media icons. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next class. Well, we've come to the final section, and here we're going to build the header for our website. Now, once we are done, once we finish building the header, this is exactly how it's going to look like. We're going to have the logo on the left, and we're going to have our main menu on the right. Also, note that the main menu is going to be built purely using Elementor. We're not going to use the default WordPress menu system to do this. This is going to be purely from Elementor. I have also introduced anchor links, which means if I clicked on any one of the menu items in here, it will take us straight to the section that contains that particular content. So as an example, if I clicked on the team, it's going to go straight down to the meet the team section. If I clicked on contact, it's going to go all the way down to where we've got the contact section. So that's what we mean by anchor links. And also note that the header is also going to have the video background playing in its own background as well. So I'm going to show you exactly how we can create this kind of header. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to do right now would be to create the anchor links for our main menu. And to do this is very easy. Let's go ahead and edit the page with Elementor. Now, there is an element known as the menu anchor. That's exactly what we're going to use. And it's right over here, just under your general. You will see it down here. It's called the menu anchor element. That's it. So what you're going to do very easily is just to drag the element above the area you want to make, or you want to turn into an anchor link. We're not going to do for the what is WHH because it's very, very close to the top, but we can start from services. Okay, so I'm going to drag the menu anchor and I'm going to drop it just above the services area. I'm going to drop that in there. Now over here, in order for the anchor to be effective, you have to give it an ID. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to call the ID here services. That's going to be the ID for our services section. Let's go back to our elements. Let's scroll down here. Now, I'm going to do the exact same thing for why walk with us. So I'm going to drag the menu anchor just above why walk with us. And I'm going to name this one y-us. Okay? y-us. Let's go back to our elements. Let's go to meet the team. Again, let's scroll down, drag the menu anchor, drop that above meet the team. I'm going to call this one the dash team. All right. Let's scroll all the way down again. Clients is next. Menu anchor, drop that above the clients. I'll call this ID just simply clients. All right. And then let's scroll down. Go back to our menu anchor, drop this one above the testimonials. And we'll call this testimonials. Or we can even call this reviews. Let's just say reviews instead. Reviews. And last but not least, we're gonna skip the counter. We'll just go straight to contact. So let's drag menu anchor just above contact, and we'll call this contact. All right. Let's go ahead and now update. And now from here, I'm simply going to go ahead now and create the structure for our header. So let's do this. Let's scroll down here. Let's add our new section. It's going to be 2 columns. And I'm going to change the size of our columns. We're going to reduce the size of the first one all the way down to 25% for now. I think eventually we might bring it down to 20, but we'll see. So it's 25% for the first column, 75% for the second column. Let's go back to our elements. Now I'm going to drag the inner section element, drop that into the second column. So now we've got 2 columns for 2 menu items, but we have 6 menu items in total. So we have to create 4 more. So let's just right click, add a new column, right click right there, add a new column, right click, add a new column, right click, add 1 more column. All right, so this is the structure. And now for our header, the left will have our logo, and then we have our 6 columns for our 6 individual menu items. Now we're going to do this. I'm going to click on the edit section button, and we're going to drag this all the way up, all the way to the top of the hill, right there. Let's drop that right there. And there you go. So that's it. We've created our anchor links. We've also created the structure for our header. And now what I'm going to do is to simply add the logo. So let's go to our elements. I'm going to drag the image over here to our logo, to our first column. I'm going to choose my logo, which is the one right here. Insert that over there. That's it for the logo. And now for the individual menu items, here's exactly what I am going to do. I'm going to go back to our elements. I'm going to drag the heading element. I'll drag the first one, drop that in there. Now take a look at this, okay? For the first one, I'm going to change the title, obviously. This is going to be services. Okay, services. I will change the size. From default, we're going to go with 16 pixels, make it pretty small. All right. Now, here's the thing. To create the actual link to the anchor, I'm going to go back to content. And then over here where you have the link, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say hashtag, and then I'm going to use the ID that we use for creating its link, which is services. Services. And that is it. I'm going to go ahead now and update. And now let's see if this would actually work. Let's go ahead now and preview our changes. Okay, now if I click on services, boom, it takes us straight down to the services area. So that's it. We've created the first anchor link. Let me go ahead now and quickly create the second one, which I believe should be the one for the why walk with us. And if I remember correctly, the menu anchor here was y-us. So again, what I'm going to do, very simply, I can copy the text in here, go over here, and then simply paste that. And then we're going to change this to YWHH. All right. And then the link is going to be hashtag y-us. Again, let's go ahead now and update. Let's check this out. Let's see if it works. YWHH, and there we go. It actually works. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pause the video and I will add the remaining 4 menu items and their anchor links. Welcome back, and as you can see, I have successfully added the remaining 4 menu items and they all work. If I click on reviews, for example, it goes all the way down to testimonials. If I clicked on contact, it goes all the way down to contact, and so on and so forth. Now, let me quickly address this, and I do apologize. I probably should have mentioned this much earlier in the course. You may have noticed that every single time we add a header, we end up having this grayish background at the very top of each particular header. The reason why this is happening is because we are using the 2019 theme. This particular theme automatically has this kind of border at the top of each header. Now, in the course of me making this particular website, I initially did not mind the header. I even thought it was kind of cute, the design. But now it's kind of getting a little bit annoying, especially now that we've added our menu items. So I could use 2 or 3 lines of CSS code to get rid of this particular border. But if you don't know how to use CSS, what you can do very easily is simply to change the theme. Just change the theme. Okay, so I'm going to go to the back end. Let's go to appearance, go to themes, and let's just go ahead and use the 2016 theme. Okay, let's use 2016 as an example. So let's activate that. It's active. Now let's go back in here. Let's refresh our page and let's see. Well, there you go. No more borders for our headers, and that is it. And you can see right now that the structure hasn't changed at all. There are some few changes. For example, our customer testimonials, our clients also meet the theme. The text has become smaller, but that's because we've changed the theme. But it's very, very easy to fix this. All we have to do is to go back to our back end. Let's refresh this so it reflects the 2016 theme. So just to change the font size, again, it's very easy. All we have to do is just go to, let's say, for example, meet the theme. Go to style, go to typography. The size in here, we can go all the way to, let's see, what do we have here? Let's, I think 44 pixels will be fine. And then I could do the exact same thing for our clients and customer testimonials and so on. So no big deal there at all. Let me just update this. And before we round this up, I am going to make one final change to the menu. For the column, the main column holding the 6 columns, I'm going to go there and click on edit column. All right, and then the content position, I'm going to switch that to the middle, and that's it. Let's go ahead now and update. And let's go to our blog. Let's refresh the page. And now let's see what we have. Let's scroll to the top. And there you go. Awesome. So that's it for part 1. We've successfully added the anchor links. We've added the menu. We've added the logo. In the next part, which is coming up, I'm now going to show you how you can make it so that the video also plays as a background for our main header. I'll see you then. I want to take a few minutes to introduce you to a particular theme known as the Page Builder Framework, and this is a theme that you absolutely must go for if you're using a page builder like Elementor, Divi, Beaver Builder. It doesn't matter. This is a theme built specifically to support page builders, and it's a pity I only just discovered this particular theme a few days ago, and that's kind of why I did not start creating this course using this particular theme. If I had known about this theme before, I would have started right from the beginning using this theme with Elementor. But why do I love this theme? Well, it's extremely fast. It provides you with lots of customizations aimed specifically at supporting page builders. I'm kidding not, this is probably one of the best themes you can use with any kind of page builder. And best of all, it's free. You can go to WordPress and download it. It's called Page Builder Framework by David Von Gries. And as of today, which is January 13, 2019, this only has 8,000 plus active installations, which I feel is a crime because this theme is freaking amazing. I'm actually going to make a full review describing what this theme can do. Plus, the theme also has a premium add-on that will add even more powerful features don't worry, again, I will make a review video describing how you can use this theme and how you can make use of all the options and powerful features it provides. I'll provide you with the link either in the description box below or in the resources, depending on which platform you're watching this particular video on. So look out for that video. But for now, if you're looking for a theme to use with your Elementor, please go ahead, download, install, and activate this particular theme. You will not regret it. So thank you so much, and let's continue with the course. Welcome to part 2, and now that we've got the logo and the menu items all set up, it is time to now implement some design. And here's exactly what we are after. We want to make it so that the video will also play in the background of our main header. So how exactly are we going to achieve this magic? Well, it's actually quite simple. And to do this, I'm going to introduce you to a fairly advanced CSS feature known as the Z index. Now, you will find the Z index if you go to edit section of any element, you go to advanced, you will find the Z index value right here, right? That's the Z index. To explain what this does, I'm just going to do this right now, okay? Just follow me. I know this can get confusing, but just follow me. I promise you, you're going to understand exactly what I'm doing in just a moment, okay? I'm going to go to the edit section, the one that contains the video as the background, okay? Let's go over to advanced. And then on the margin, I'm going to give this a negative values. Now note that as we're increasing the negative value, the video is going up, it's 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 going up. Let's take it all the way to the very top. So, all right, so that's at negative 115. What's happened right now is that the video is basically now in front of our main header. Okay, the main header, it's still there, it's just behind the video. So what are we going to do now? To get the video, or to get the main header to display, we'll have to give it a higher Z index value than the section that has the video playing as the background. So I'm going to give this particular section, the one with the video background, I'm going to give it a Z index of 4. Okay. Now, to get the section that contains our header, to find it, I'm going to go over to a Navigator. Let's go over to the first section right here. There you go. I'm going to go to advanced. And then for the Z index, I'm going to give it a value of 5. And that's it. That's all that we needed to do to get our header to now display. So basically, the best way how I can describe this Z index is that it's useful in these kinds of situations where you've maybe displaced the contents of one particular section, because now you have another section being displayed in front of it. So if you wanted to display the contents of the section behind, simply give that section a higher value for the Z index over the one that's in front of it. And that's pretty much how the Z index works. If we gave this a value of 4 or anything less than 4, the section containing the video background will display instant because it's the one that's in front. But we give it any value higher than 4, and now the contents of our header now displays. So that's exactly how you can make use of the Z index. Don't worry, I can understand if you're still a little bit confused. If you have any questions about this, please do let me know. I will do my very best to answer them for you. But we're not done. I'm still going to make a few little changes in here. Let's go over to the section containing our header. And what I want to do right now is to go to the layout, and I'm going to change the width to 1200. All right. And then for the actual header itself, the one that says don't get hacked, what I want to do right now is to reduce the size, make it so that it goes into one straight line, because I just feel it will look better that way. So let's go to style, go to typography, and then the size in here, I'm going to go down to 140. All right. And I'm also going to go back to the content, and I will remove the break tag that I added over here. I'm going to remove that. So there you go. It now goes on one line, don't get hacked. Let's update. And now let's see how this looks like. And there you go. Don't get hacked. And we also have our header with the logo and the menu item with the video as the background as well. So that is it. We have successfully built our website using Elementor. Join me in the very next video where we'll now take a look at responsive design. Alrighty, so now that we've finished building the website on the desktop, it is time to now take a look at how the website will look like when it's viewed either on a tablet or on a mobile phone. Keep in mind that more people now actually spend time surfing the internet on their mobile devices than they do on the computer. So the way your website looks like on a mobile device is extremely important. And thankfully, Elementor is such a fantastic plugin, and it's so easy to see how your website will look like when it's viewed on a mobile device. So to do this, I'm going to go over here to my backend, and now down here where you have the desktop icon, I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to switch over to tablets, and there you go. So this is exactly how a website will look like when it's viewed on a tablet. We can scroll down, and for the most part, it actually looks quite good, right? Nothing seems to have really changed. The structure looks good, our clients looks good, testimonials looks good. Everything still looks pretty good, which is awesome. I like that. However, let's now switch over to mobile, which is probably more important. And let me just scroll all the way over here to the top, see what this looks like. And okay, so now we have a bit more of a challenge. You can see right now that the text "don't get hacked" is way too big for our mobile phone. So we're gonna have to make an edit to this. But let me scroll down and see what else it looks like. And for the most part, this actually looks quite good. It looks quite good when viewed on the mobile phone, which isn't too bad. Testimonials can be improved. You can see it's a bit clunky. The borders don't match up to each other, but that's because of the margins that we added. We'll fix that in just a moment. Let's scroll down and okay, all right. So we do have two main issues that we can work with the mobile view, testimonials, and of course the header, the "don't get hacked" header. All right. So how can we fix this specifically on the mobile device? The first thing I want to let you know is that when it comes to the actual elements themselves, like the headers, the images, the text, you can choose to hide them when they're viewed either on a tablet or on a mobile device or on a phone. How would you do that? Well, if you go over to advanced, you will see responsive. Again, keep in mind this is specifically for the elements, not sections or columns, but for the elements themselves. If you go to responsive over here, you will see the option to either hide on tablet or even hide on mobile. Unfortunately, Elementor cannot give us a live preview of what that will look like. You would have to make the change here and then go to an actual phone and see the changes for yourself. Hopefully in the future, Elementor will be able to provide this particular feature, but this is available for you. You can choose to hide certain elements when viewed on certain screen sizes. But if you wanted to still show the text, here's what we can do, okay? We can click on the text. We can go over to Style, click on Typography. Now note that in here we've got the three different views: desktop, tablet, and then mobile phone, mobile device. Note that mobile device is now highlighted in blue. This lets you know that whatever change we make right now will reflect only when it's viewed on a mobile device, on a mobile phone. So for the size right now, let's go ahead and choose something decent, something that's not too big. And let's stick with 60 pixels, right? 60 pixels. So I'm going to go ahead now and update this. Okay. So we've reduced the size to 60 for the mobile phone. If I go back to my desktop and I refresh this page, you can see that the size hasn't changed. It's still 140, I believe, for desktop, but now it's going to be viewed on 60 pixels when it's been displayed on a mobile phone. Okay, good. However, we still have some spacing issues. Too much of a black space between the menu above and below. And the reason why is because this section has a minimum height of 640 pixels set to it on the desktop. So to access the section containing this header, I'm going to bring out my Navigator, go over to the section, and then in here for the main height, I'm going to change that from 640, which was set for the desktop. And we're just going to go with something that isn't too big. And let's go with 390 pixels. Maybe 400 actually. Let's go with 400. And there you go. So let's go ahead and update that. And that is it for our section. Okay, for the header, that's it. All right, that's good. Not too bad at all. Let's now scroll down over to where we have the testimonials, because we had some issues with the margins, with the borders right here. So the reason why we have this is because, remember, we added margins of 16 pixels to the right for the first column, and then 16 pixels to the left for the third column. So we're gonna fix this. Let's go over here to edit column, and again, note that the tablet view, or that the mobile view, is highlighted. Let's go over to advanced. All right, and then for the margins, I'm gonna make sure that for the first one, it's set to 0. And there you go. All right, let's go over to the third one, go over to the margins, and then left, we're gonna set that to 0 as well. And I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I added the margins to the testimonials and not the actual columns. Let's go to column, go to advanced. Okay, margin to the left is 0. Okay, so that's it. I should have added the margins to the column and not the actual testimonial. So that's it. We've successfully fixed the testimonials section as well. So that's basically one of the major tips when it comes to fixing little changes for the responsive design. If you've added any margins or paddings, or you've changed the font sizes for some of your text and it doesn't look too good on responsive, just go in and set the values back to 0 or set the values back to the default, and it should look good on your mobile device. So that's pretty much it. If there are other changes you want to make, again, remember that you can choose to hide elements when viewed either on the tablet or on a mobile phone. You can increase the sizes specifically for either tablet or the mobile phone. Test to see how it looks like. Just make sure that over here you're actually editing using the right kind of view. Remember, if you choose tablet right now, any change you make would only reflect when the website is viewed on a tablet. If you switch over to mobile, any changes you now make to your sections, your columns, your elements, basically anything on your page will only be reflected when the website is viewed on a mobile device. So that is it for responsive. As usual, if you have any questions, do let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next class. Let's talk about one of the most powerful features of Elementor, and I'm talking about features of blocks and page templates. Now, at the bottom of your screen, right here where you have the white folder icon, if you click in there, you will be taken to a page where you will have access to different kinds of pre-built templates. Over here, you can see we've got designs for a home page, a business page, an app page, interior design. We've got so many of them. Now, you would also note that some of them have the text Pro. This means you can only use this template with the Pro version of Elementor. Another reason why you might want to go for the Pro version. But basically, you have all these pre-built templates that you can just simply apply onto any particular page. So as an example, okay, let's go over to our back end. And let's just say I wanted to add a new page. So I'm going to go over here. Let's add a new page. And I'm just going to go ahead now and edit with Elementor. Let's go over here to the back end. And from here, I'm going to click on the template icon and take a look at this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead now and simply insert the very first one in here. Click on insert. Now, this will take a few seconds to maybe 1 minute, depending on the amount of content that needs to be imported. But there you go. Right now, you can see that we have all the content from that particular template, all the sections, the columns, the design, everything has been inserted right there for us. So this really is a very, very quick way on how you can quickly just create pages for your website. So you go back in here, you have access to different kinds of templates, whether it's a homepage template, a contact page template, a services page template. You have so many of them available, and Elementor keeps on adding new templates every single time. Also, you can actually save your very own custom templates. So as an example right now that we've built out our homepage for the website, which is, well, practically the entire website itself, I could decide to reuse this entire template. But to do that, I would need to save this page as a template. And to do that, come over here, click on the save options, and then click on save as template. So I can come in here right now and just simply say our front page template. That's going to be the name. Click on save. And there you go. It's now saved. So if I go over to, let's say, a new page, or even this existing page, I could reuse the front page template by simply going back to the icon folder and then go over to my templates. Oh, sorry, I need to refresh this page. Let me just reload this. All right. So if I go back in here, go all the way back down here, go to the icon folder, and we go to my templates. Now you can see it's available for us to use. And if I go ahead and simply click on insert, it says, do you want to also import the document settings of the template? Attention, importing may override previous settings. So in this case right now, you're basically saying, yes, we want the page to go full width. We want to use the Elementor canvas, things like that. So I'm going to say, yes, let's go ahead and import all the settings. And there you go. We have all the content right there. The text, of course, is in white. You can't really see that. And meet the team, everything is in there. So we'll just need to make the few changes, like making the background for the page black so we can actually see all the text. So that's exactly how you can make use of page templates and also save your own custom page templates that you can reuse over and over again on different pages. But we also have access to blocks. So if you go back to the icon folder and you click on blocks right here, you will be able to use pre-built blocks of content. And over here, we've got the categories. So you can go with a for page, an about section, for example, a call to action section, or even a client section. Let's check out the clients section. So in here right now, you can simply just go ahead now and insert this particular block, and you'll have access to the design, the section, the columns, the logos, everything. And of course, you also have access to some, but these are for the Pro version of Elementor. So again, another reason why you might want to consider going for the Pro version of Elementor. And that's it. So just like with the page templates, you can simply click on insert, and that's it. So with Elementor, you can very, very quickly just build out pages, add content, add blocks of content, and within an hour, you could have like a full website, and all you need to do is just edit the text, edit the images, add your own custom styling, and you are done. So that is it for the page templates and blocks. If you have any questions about this, do let me know. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next class. Alrighty, well, we've just about come to the end of this section, but before we round this up, I wanted to introduce you to one final tool known as the Finder tool with Elementor, and it's right here. So if you click on Finder, basically in here, you can search for anything. You can search for either an element, a widget, an image, text, anything. It's basically kind of like the Google search engine for your website, if that makes sense. So as an example, I can come in here right now and type in team, all right? And you can see right now that the word team appears on my homepage. It also appears on my front page template. It also appears on a separate page, which is the Elementor #184. So basically, whenever you type in a piece of text or anything, basically, Elementor will show you the particular pages that might contain that particular text or element that you're looking for. So that's one of the very cool features of Elementor that they just recently added. So that's it for the Finder tool. And before I round this up, I know we did not make use of all the elements that you have available with Elementor. That will take way too long. But you do have some really cool elements that you can make use of, such as the button element. You've got Google Maps. You've got the image box, star rating. So feel free. In fact, I would recommend that you spend time playing around with all these available elements. Whether you want to work with statistics, you've got your progress bar, you've got your icon list, accordions, and so much more. You've got everything available for you to test out with. So do spend some time to really make use and try lots of all these elements that Elementor has provided for you. And keep in mind that Elementor are constantly improving. So don't be surprised if a month from now, you go back in here and you see a new element that has popped up. So that's it. Let's now round up this section. All right, so before we round up this section where we've built out this site using the free version of Elementor, I thought it best to now introduce to you the paid version of Elementor and give you six reasons why you might want to consider going for the paid version of Elementor. And the very first reason is the simple fact that with the paid version of Elementor, you now have access to an additional wide variety of elements. So basically, with the free version, you only have access to the basic and the general, as well as the WordPress widgets. However, with the Pro version of Elementor, you now have access to the Pro elements, where you now have elements like posts, you've got slides, the login, and with the headline, price table, call to action, reviews, and so much more. It is amazing. You're also going to have access to site elements, where you can now add your site logo, your site title, add your nav menu, search form, a menu card, and so much more. If you have posts, if you're interested in creating posts, maybe you'll have a blog, you now have elements for your blog posts as well, where you can add elements like the post title, the featured image, the comments, post navigation, and so much more. If you have WooCommerce installed on your WordPress website, you also now have WooCommerce elements such as the products, custom add to cart, product categories, and so much more. So basically, with the paid version of Elementor, you have access to so much more elements. The second reason why you might want to go with the paid version of Elementor is the fact that with the paid version, you now have access to global widgets. And what do I mean here? Basically, if you wanted to save a particular column or a section, and we use that section or column over and over again on different pages, you can do so using the paid version of Elementor. So as an example, if I wanted to reuse the "Don't Get Hacked" headline, I could simply come in here, right click, and now you can see I have the option of save as a global. So I can reuse this particular headline with all the design and functionality on other pages. This is a feature not available with the free version of Elementor. Now, reason number three is the simple fact that with the paid version of Elementor, you can now actually see your live changes whenever you're editing in a responsive mode. Remember when we worked with the free version of Elementor and we tried changing the design either on the tablet view or mobile view, we could not see the live changes, right? But with the paid version of Elementor, you can come in here right now, make some changes to your text, and you would actually see the live changes right there. So you don't have to go and take a mobile device and then see your changes. You can see everything live and direct from the Elementor backend. Reason number four is the fact that with the paid version of Elementor, you now have access to all the page templates, all the page blocks. You're no longer restricted, and with the paid version of Elementor, you can quickly build out pages, quickly build out websites. You're no longer restricted. Everything right now is available for you, from contact us templates to media team templates to homepage templates. Everything will now be available to you. And reason number five is the fact that with Elementor Pro, you're going to have access to the integrations, where you can now integrate Elementor with apps like a reCAPTCHA, with Facebook, MailChimp, Drip, ActiveCampaign. So if you use any one of these services, you can now integrate them with Elementor using the paid version of the Elementor plugin. And last but not least is the simple fact that the paid version of Elementor is actually cheap. Now, license for one website is just $49 for a whole year. This is not going to cost you an arm or your leg. It's cheap. It's just $49 for the whole year, and you have access to all the benefits of Elementor Pro. And if you're a business, maybe you're in the business of building websites for clients, you could consider going for either the business subscription, which would be $99 for 3 sites, or quite possibly the unlimited version, which would be $199, and you can use Elementor on as many websites as you want. So Elementor, with all the fantastic features it provides, it's actually really cheap. So those are the 6 major reasons why you might want to consider going with the paid version of Elementor. It offers so much more power, so much more customization, and it's also really cheap. So hopefully I've been able to convince you now to go with the paid version of Elementor. Well, there you have it. We've come to the end of this first section where we've built out this full one-page website using the free version of Elementor. I am going to proceed now to using the paid version of Elementor to further enhance the design and functionality of our site. If you're interested, stick around But if you're like, nah, I don't want to use the paid version of Elementor, I'm happy with the free version, you're more than welcome to stop watching now. But before you go, do consider subscribing to the channel. I upload tutorials on YouTube as often as I can, so please hit the subscribe button. If you like this tutorial, if you feel like you've learned a thing or two, hit the like button as well. And if you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments section below. I would really appreciate that. So if you're saying goodbye, I'm saying goodbye to you from here. But if you're interested in carrying on and learning about Elementor Pro, let's get cracking. The business might want to work with us, the white hat hackers. We're also going to make a few changes here and there, but finally we'll also rework the contact us section. We're going to add the Google Maps and also a contact form using the Pro version of Elementor. So if this sounds good to you and you're ready to learn how to use Elementor Pro, let's get started. Alrighty, so welcome to this brand new section where we're going to enhance our website using elements of Elementor Pro. And the very first part we're going to work on would be the header. And with Elementor Pro, we do have access to two different elements we can use to build out the header. The very first one here is going to be under the site category, and it is the site logo. It's right there. Now take a look at this. If I drag the logo and drop it right here, we cannot choose the image we want to use as the logo directly from this window. In order for this to actually work, we're going to have to come in here. You'll have to go to your appearance, customize under your WordPress backend, and then on the site identity, you want to go in here right now and choose your logo. So basically, Elementor will pull the logo from this particular location. So let me do this really quickly. I'm going to choose my logo. It's right there. I'm going to go ahead and select it. And let me just crop everything right here. I think this should be fine. All right, let's crop the image. All right, so that's the logo. I'm going to go ahead now and publish this. Awesome, it's published. So let me go back in here right now and delete this element. I'm going to go ahead now and refresh this page so that Elementor now knows that the logo has been uploaded on the back end. And now from here, I'm going to scroll down. Let's go back to the site category, drag the site logo, drop it underneath our main logo. And there you go. So now you can see that Elementor has pulled the logo from our WordPress backend. I'm going to go ahead now and delete our element here because we don't need that anymore. So with the site logo element, you have access to things like making the image size full. You can go with the medium size, thumbnail size, or just give it a very, very specific size. In this case right now, I'm going to give it a very specific size of, let's say, 240 by maybe 240, I guess. Let's apply that and see. Okay, well, yeah, it's okay. I mean, this can always be changed. It's okay for now. So under style as well, you can increase the width if you want to. Make it as wide as you want. Actually, you know what? I think this is fine. 75% is okay. I'm going to leave it at that. So there are other things you can do. You can add your border radius, add a box shadow, things like that. Under advanced, you have access to your scrolling effect. So you can decide to make this sticky at the top, which means if you now scroll down, you can see that the logo doesn't shift. It's right there. It's always at the top in its position. And then you can choose whether or not you want to make it sticky on your desktop, on your tablet, or your mobile. And then you can also add an offset. An offset basically means how far would you displace it from the top. So if I go with 1, 2, 3, 4, if I increase this, you can see right now that the logo starts dropping down from the very top of the screen. I'm gonna leave it on 0, and yeah, I'm not gonna make it sticky because we don't need that. So that's it. I'm gonna go ahead now and update our page. So that is it for the logo. Next is going to be the main menu, and with Elementor Pro, we do have access to a particular element known as the nav menu element right here. So with this element, we can actually display our menu. However, you need to create your main menu first from the WordPress backend, which I have already done. It's right here. I used custom links to create the menus. And of course, the URL, make sure it has the hashtag and then the ID that you used for your anchors. Make sure you do that. So you can pause this video, go ahead now and create your main menu. I'm going to go ahead now and simply save the menu for now. And I'm going to go back in here. All right, so let's do this. All right. I'm going to go ahead now and simply drag and drop the nav menu just above in here. And so right now you can see that automatically Elementor has pulled my main menu from the back end. If you have multiple menus, you'll be able to choose it from the drop down box right here. So before we start editing the menu, let me just go ahead and remove this particular section. All right, cool, awesome. So what can we do with the nav menu element? Lots of things. All right, first of all, the layout. Do you want to go horizontal or do you want to go vertical? Vertical is not the best option in my opinion. It really depends on the design of your website, but traditionally you want to go with horizontal. That's typically the better choice. But you've also got drop down, which would be ideal for mobile devices where you have this hamburger icon and then the user will have to click on the icon and then the menu will expand. So for desktop, basically, I'm just going to stick with the traditional horizontal for now. And then you've got the alignments. Do you want to go with center, align to the left, right, and so on? I'm going to go with center. You've got the pointer, which basically is what happens when you point your mouse on a menu item. So right now you can see that we do have an effect. The menu item turns orange, and then there's a line underneath the menu item. So it's right here. The pointer is on the line, but you have access to different types like background, for example, which I kind of like. I love background more. So you can play around with the options in here. You've got the animation, what happens. Will it grow? Will it shrink? Swipe left. Let's try out grow. And okay, I like grow. Again, none of these options is right or wrong. It all depends on your design, your style, what you like. So I'll stick with the grow for now. Submenu, unfortunately, we don't have submenus, but if you have a submenu on your own menu, you have several options you can choose in here to display that particular menu. And then you've got the you've got the mobile drop down. So in here, you can indicate when you actually want to make your menu responsive. The two options in here are tablet and mobile. Before you decide in here, you can always come down in here, choose your responsive mode. So let's go with tablet for now and see. Let's make this mobile first. Okay, so with tablets, it doesn't look too good. All right, you can see right now that contact drops down beneath, so it's a little bit, it's not too neat. So yeah, I'm gonna go with tablet. From tablet, we want to make it the drop down, or rather the hamburger menu icon. So right now, users will have to click on the hamburger icon to expand the menu. That's okay. I think we can stick with that for now. Let's go back to the desktop view. Let me click in here. All right, so basically, what happens when it actually goes to the mobile view? Let me actually do that. Sorry, let me go back in here to tablet. Okay, so from here, what actually happens? Do you want to align it to the center or aside? So when you click drop down right now, you can see the menu items are the center, or you can go with aside where it drags the menu items to the left. I like center. And then the toggle button, traditionally, it's always the hamburger. This is the hamburger, but you can choose not to have any, which would be kind of odd. So yeah, you typically want to go with the hamburger option for this. And then the toggle align. Do you want to go with the left or the right? I like right for this one, so I'm going to stick with right. And that's it for the content. Let's go over to style. And again, in here, you've got so many options. Let's switch back, first of all, to the desktop view. All right, so again, text color, you can change the color to something else, black, red, whatever you like. You've got options for hover, what happens when someone actually points the mouse in there. You can choose your pointer color, add padding, all sorts of different kinds of options for this for the main menu. But what I really want to focus on right now is going to be the drop down, because as of now, I don't like the way this drop down. I don't like the way this drop down actually looks like. Let me click. It's a little bit hard for me to click on the hamburger icon. Okay, let me quickly do this. Let's go back to content and let me align it to the left. Okay, so I'm sorry, the edit button was interfering with the hamburger menu icon. So let's go back to style. So from here, how does this actually look like when we click on the hamburger menu and it's a drop down? So I don't like this. I don't like the fact that the background is in white. I really want to change this, okay? So from the drop down, the text color, I'm going to change this from black, and I'm going to go with my orange color, which is that, okay? That's the orange color. Let me click outside. Okay, background color, I'm going to go with black. All right, so this is what I like this. So orange text color, black background. What else do we have here? Horizontal padding, no effects. Vertical padding, yes, we can maybe put this down to 8, so it's not too tall, not too short. All right, and that is it. Okay, so that's it for the drop down. Now the toggle button, which is this big X right here. The size, we can make it like really big if you wanted to. You can give it a decent size of 30 pixels. And then you can add a border radius or the border if you want to. You can change the color, add a very specific background color for it as well. But I like this. I think this looks fine as it is. And then finally, under advanced, in here, just like with the logo, you can add your scrolling effect if you wanted to, make it sticky at the top. So basically, if anyone scrolls down right now, they will see the menu icon at all times. So again, this depends on your own style and what you like. So that is pretty much it for the header, building out the header using the Elementor Pro, using the logo element as well as the nav menu element. So if you have any questions about this, do let me know. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next class. Moving on, and what we're going to do next is we're going to change the headline that we have over here that says, "Don't get hacked." We're going to add a new headline, but it's going to be an animated headline. And with Elementor Pro, you do have access to the element right here. That's it. It's called the animated headline. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this and I'm going to drop this right there. Let's get rid of the old header. We don't need that anymore. All right. So what can we do with this animated headline? Well, first of all, you've got two major styles, highlighted or rotating. So the major difference here is that with highlighted, you get to choose a particular piece of text, and then you can choose how you want to highlight that text. So you can go with a shape, maybe circle or double. And in here, you'll type in the highlighted text, and then in here, you'll type the text that should appear before the highlighted text. My preference though is the rotating, because with rotating, you can do things like add text that would rotate with other types of text. So as an example, what I'm going to do here is this, okay? Let's do this. The before text here is going to be defeat, okay? And then the rotating text here, check this out. I'm going to go with defeat hackers, and I'm going to say defeat malware and defeat exploits. All right, so here's exactly what we're going to do. With the animation, since we've chosen rotating, there are different types that we can choose specifically for the rotating text. So I can go with wave as an example, so you can see how that will change. My preference here is actually clip. I like the way the cursor like moves and then changes. You see that animation, it moves to the left, moves to the right, changes, brings out the new text. I like that. I like that a lot. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick with the before text defeat, and then rotating text would be hackers, malware, and then exploits. Awesome. All right, let's go over to style, and I'm going to choose the typography specifically now for the headline in general. So let's make this like pretty big. All right, let's make this very big. Let's see, how big do we want to make this? 110. All right, let's stick with 110 for now. The text color will be orange. Let's leave it at that. That's for the headline. And now specifically for the animated text, I'm going to choose a different color, and I'm going to go with the default red here. Let's see if we can make this a bit more pronounced. Let's come over here. Let's see. We need something very, very red. Let me drag this up here and see. Red. Nope, that's not going to do. Let's come over here. Pink? No, we don't want to go with pink. Let's see. Okay, this is more like it. All right, I'm going to stick with this color. Let's go back in here. And then for the typography, you can actually choose a different kind of font family, specifically for the highlighted text. The weight in this case, I'm going to go with something very heavy, 900. So it's like very, very pronounced. Maybe 900 is a bit too much. Let's go with 800. Let's see. 800. Okay, 800 is cool. I like that. And that's it. Let's go ahead now and update our header. And let's see how this is going to look like. And there you go. So you can see how the animated headline now looks like. It's so much better than the original static headline that we had. I love this. I like this a lot. So that's exactly how you can work with the animated headline. You can get really creative. You can even add some after text. So some text will appear after the animated headline. You can add your links, change the alignment, go to style, change colors. Feel free to play around with all these available options and you can really create a very, very creative animated headline. So that's it for the animated headline. Thank you for watching and I will see you in the next class. We are moving on, and the very next element we're going to add will be the countdown element. Basically, we're going to count down from 30 seconds, and once 30 seconds has expired, we're going to display a message. What message? Well, you'll just have to stick around and find out. So let's do this. I'm going to drag the countdown over here. Let's drop that into our new section, and from here, I'm just simply going to drag this. Let's take this all the way to the top, just beneath the main slider. Now let's drop that in there. All right, so what do we have over here? First of all, I'm going to make the entire width for the section go full width. Okay, that's the first change. Let's now go to the actual timer itself. So what do we have here? Basically, we've got two types. We've got a due date and we have the evergreen timer. I'm going to go with the evergreen timer because it works for our purposes. The hours, I'm going to change this to 0. Because we want the timer to count down 30 seconds just once and then display a particular message. For minutes, again, we cannot specifically indicate we want to start the countdown from 30 seconds. But what we can do here is we can say 0.5 minutes, which is basically half a minute, which is 30 seconds. So the countdown will start from 30 seconds. So let's go ahead and hide the days, hide the hours, hide the minutes. So now you can see the countdown essentially will start from 30 seconds. So I'm going to add a custom label, which is going to be guess what happens every 30 seconds. Do you know what happens every 30 seconds? Well, you're about to find out. All right. Now, the actions after the countdown has expired. What do we want to happen? Well, check this out. All right. First of all, we could choose to redirect the user to a different link, a different page if you wanted to. But we're going to hide the timer, first of all, and then we're going to display a message. What message? It's a mystery. But here it goes. We're going to say, one company gets hacked every 30 seconds. Don't let it be yours. So we're really trying to market our services. We're trying to create this sense of urgency in our potential customers. So by the way, I don't know if this is actually true. I'm just making this up. So don't tell me that, hey Alex, I did some research and I found out that what you said is not true. I don't know, I'm just making this up. All right, so let me just go ahead and update this. And let's see how this will actually look like. All right. Let's go ahead and preview the changes. And let's see, I am so excited. And okay, so here's the problem with doing the previews using the same browser. I'm using Chrome, and Chrome seems to have stored my cookies, so the countdown doesn't actually start from 30 seconds. So what I'm going to do here is simply I'm going to open up a different browser, which is where do I have it? I've got Firefox over here, right? So let's try with Firefox instead. Hopefully the countdown will actually start. And let's see. Awesome. All right, so this actually starts. All right, so you can see we've got the countdown right there. And for some reason, my internet service is slow today. Today is Saturday. You can see the image is just, this image is just loading. How atrocious. I'm going to demand a refund. All right, so let's just see what happens once the countdown expires. And really, a lot of people will come to this site and they'll be curious, like what actually happens when that countdown expires. Am I going to get a gift? You know, is a bomb going to explode? Okay, so there you go. We've got the message, one company gets hacked every 30 seconds. Don't let it be yours. So you can see it actually works. So one simple change we can make right now would be to make this text actually big, bold, and pronounced. So let's make that change, all right? I'm going to go in here, go back to the back end. All right, so from here we can go over to the style, right? We've got style. So we've got the boxes, we've got the content itself, and then we have the message. So we're dealing with the message right now, and we're going to go with typography, and then the size. Let's see. It's a shame I can't really see the preview from here. All right, let's go with 45 pixels. Let's update that. And we'll see. Let's just go straight to Chrome here because we don't need to see the countdown anymore. Let's just see how this looks like. Okay, so this takes it to 2 lines. We don't want that, so we might need to change the size a little bit, make it a little bit smaller. So let's go with, let's say, 42 pixels. Update that. And let's see the change. Let's see how that looks like. Okay, one company gets every 30 seconds. Don't let it be yours. I like that. I think this actually works. So that's how to work with the countdown timer. Thank you for watching the video, and I will see you in the next class. The next section we're working on is going to be the services section. And while this actually looks quite good as it is, this could be improved so much more. And we're going to make use of a pro element known as the flip box. This is gonna change the way we display our services. So let's do this, all right? First of all, I'm gonna drag the intersection element. I'll drop that just beneath our services. All right, and then I'm gonna add an extra column. So we've got 3 columns right now for our 3 different services. So let's go ahead now and add the very first service, which is of course consultancy with this particular image. So let's go back to our elements. Now I'm going to go over to the Pro, all right? And here's exactly what we're going to use. We're going to make use of the flip box element right there. Flip box. Let's drop that in here. Boom. Okay, so right now you can see the immediate effect of using the flip box. So here's what we're going to do, okay? On the front, we're going to display the background image. And then when it flips over, we will now display the text, which represents the background image, right? So let's do this first of all, right? So front, over here, we've got content. You can add content at the front, or we can go with a background. We're going to go with the background. And of course, we're going to go with an image. So I'll click on classic, choose image. And here's the image we're going to use, the one with the silhouettes of people. Let's scroll down. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, let's go ahead and use this one. Insert that as the media. All right, okay, so there you go. That's the image right there. Now for the content, we don't need any content, so we're going to go ahead and delete the content for the front. Let's go ahead and remove that. And the icon as well, we're not using any icon. We're only going with the background image. Now let's go back to background. And from here, I'm going to make sure that the entire image actually shows. So to do this, we're going to go over here to size under the image, and we're going to go with contain. You can either go with contain or you can go with cover. It really depends. But in this case right now, I think I'm going to go with contain. All right. Actually, let's go with cover. I'm sorry. Cover is a much better option, I think. Yeah, cover will be a better option in my opinion. So that's it. We've got the cover. Next, let's now go to the back, right? So that's for the front. Now let's go to the back. Like what happens when the image actually flips. So here's the content. The content we're going to work with right now will be the consultancy. So let me just go ahead right now and grab this text for our consultancy. Let's copy that. Let's go back to the flip box. Make sure we're editing the back and not the front. So the content area right now, let's go ahead and add that. Now for the heading, obviously this is going to be consultancy. We don't need any button, but you've got the option right there. I'm going to go ahead and remove that. All right. So that's the content. Now for the background. The background here is blue, but we can change that. Let's go with black. All right, I always like black. So background type, we'll go with the color instead, but we'll go with black. All right, so that's it. That's the black color. Okay, I like this. All right, so from here, we're going to go over to the settings now. And in here, we can control the kind of animation that happens. So by default, we've got the flip to the right, but we can go with slide as an example. Okay, you've got the slide where you've got the text just pushing in from the right. I like this. However, if you're going to go with the flip, there is a very interesting animation here, which is the 3D depth, which kind of gives you some sort of extra 3D animation. So you might actually like that animation. I don't know if you can see it from here, but it kind of like wobbles the image a little bit from the top. Anyway, it's really up to you. I'm going to go with the slide. I like slide and then to the right. And that's it. So I like this. So the few last things we need to change here would be the size of our text and also the color. So let's go over to style and front. We're not dealing with the front. We're dealing with the back specifically. And the title in this case right now, I'm going to go with the traditional orange color for our title. So let's scroll down here. Title, text color. We do have the orange color right there. Let me move this up a little bit so it matches. Okay, I like that. That's for the color. The size, we can make the size a little bit bigger. Consultancy. So we go with 34 pixels should be fine. So that's for the title. And then, of course, we've got the description. I like the default white color, but we can change the size, make it a little bit bigger. Let me scroll down here. Size, let's see. Let me scroll back up, actually. Size for the description. I think 16 pixels might be okay. 16 pixels. Let's do this, 16 pixels. Okay, I think this should be fine. Anyway, let me go ahead and update this. And let's see how this would actually look like from the front end. Let's scroll down here. All right, so we've got services. And there you go, consultancy. Awesome. All right, I like this. Except the orange color actually doesn't match. So let me just quickly do this. I'm going to grab the color. Okay, let me just copy this color real quick. Let's go back in here. A title, I'm going to paste the color I just copied so it actually matches completely. Okay, so there you go. That's the real orange color. All right, awesome. So that is it for the very first text block. I'm happy with what we have in there. So what I'm going to do very quickly, as usual, I'm just going to copy the entire box in here. I'm going to go ahead and paste that in there and then paste that over here as well. So I'm going to pause the video right now and I'm simply going to change the image and the text to add the analysis and prevention services. Welcome back, and as you can see, I have added the additional services for analysis and prevention. So this is the brand new services section, and as a result, we no longer need the old section. So let's just go ahead and delete that, and there you go. Let's update that once more. Let's go back to our front end, and let's take a look at the newly improved services section. Ooh la la, look at that. Beyond consultancy, analysis, and of course prevention. So that's exactly how to work with flip boxes. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next class. Now that we've reworked the services section, we can now go ahead and rework the Why Work With Us section. And yes, I know this looks quite good, but we can actually improve this by making use of a pro element known as the slides element. It's right here. So I'm going to drag that and I'm going to drop that just beneath the title, Why Work With Us. Let's drop that in there. So with the slide element, we can add headers, text, buttons, background images, background colors, animations, lots of really cool stuff. So let's do this. Okay, I'm going to click on slide 1 heading. First of all, on the background, I'm going to change the color from the purple to black. All right. And then for the image, I do have an image in here, which I'm going to use, which is what we have over here. I'm going to insert that. All right. And the text is supposed to be professionalism, right? So let's do this. We've got the size, which is cover. Now over here, look at this. We've got an effect known as the Ken Burns effect. And to be honest with you, I never knew what this effect was until I actually started working on this course. And it's actually a very, very cool effect. Look at this. If I turn this on, look at that. It's zooming in, and you can actually even change the direction of the zoom from in or out. Look at that. Oh, I love that. This is really, really cool. I like that. All right, let's add some background overlay. We're going to go with some black color. So let me scroll down here. All right, so what do we get? We want to make it quite dark so that the text can be legible. Okay, I think this is perfect as it is. Okay, that's for the background overlay. Oh, let's turn that back on. All right, so that's for the background overlay. Now the size, I'm going to go all the way to 500 pixels. I do have the benefit of hindsight. I've tested this. I know 500 pixels is just about right. All right, so 500 pixels and cool. All right, so that's it for the design. Now, what about the actual content itself? Let's go back over here. So that's for the background. Next is going to be the content, right? So I'm going to click on content. And the very first reason here is, I believe, professionalism. Okay, so let's add the heading right here. Professionalism. And I do have some text. We're professionals, cybersecurity experts. Okay. We don't need a button, so I'm going to remove that. And well, that is it. And finally, we've got style. And with style in here, we can choose a very specific styling options for this particular slide. So in this case, we will click on custom. And then from custom, we can change the position of the content, change the content color, and so on. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep the styling consistent across all the 4 slides, so we don't need any custom styling for professionalism. All right, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to add the remaining reasons for experience, proven solutions, and then affordability using the exact same way I created the first one for professionalism. Welcome back, and as you can see, I have added the remaining reasons, which are proven solutions, experience, and of course affordability. All right, now let's go ahead and add some actual styling to our text because they're actually kind of small. So I'm going to jump over here to style, and of course in here you can change the width of the slides to begin with. We're going to go all the way to 100 so it expands to the extreme edges of our screen. And then of course you can choose to add padding, horizontal positioning for the content, vertical position as well, text align. You've got all these options available. That's for slides. Now for the title itself, I think this size should be just about right. The text color, I'm going to stick with the white. I'm not going to change that. Description, on the other hand, though, we need to make this a little bit bigger. So I'm sorry, let's go with the typography. All right, so for size, let's make something a little bit big, maybe not too big, 24 pixels. Okay, this seems to be okay. And all right, so if you had a button in here, you can change how the button would look like. And then finally, the navigation, which is the arrows. Do you want to position them on the inside or on the outside? I kind of like them on the inside. Yeah, let's go with outside actually. Let's go with outside. And then of course you can change the size of the arrows, add some text. Actually, you know what? Let's change the color of the arrows. We're going to go with the orange color that we use regularly on our sites. So let's do that. I'm going to go over here with orange. And we'll make this just a little bit lighter so that it matches what we have. And okay, I think this should be close enough. All right, that should be close enough. Okay, let's go ahead now and update this. And let's see how our new Why Walk With Us section. And let's see. Let's scroll down. And okay, this looks good. However, we can make some further changes. We can expand this to go full width. So let's do this. Like, I'm going to go back to the back end, and for the main section occupying or containing the Why Walk With Us, I'm going to click on in here. I'm going to change the content width from box to go full width. Let's go ahead and update this. Let's see the new change and see how it looks like. Let's scroll down. And voila, there you go. Pretty awesome, right? We've got the content going full with the background image expanding to the edges of our screen. I like that. I like that a lot. A few things to point out really quickly. If I go back in here, go to the slides, you could make additional changes to the slider options. So over here, for example, you can choose your kind of navigation. You can choose to pause the slider on hover. I'm going to go with no, actually. You can also change the autoplay speed. So maybe we can make this a little bit longer. Maybe go with 7,000. And then, of course, you've got the transition effect, whether it's fade or slide. You've got the transition speed, the content animation, all different kinds of options to choose from. And then also with the slides themselves, whenever you're trying to add a background overlay, you may have noticed this option here known as the blend mode. And whatever you choose in here will have a direct effect on how your background overlay would look like. So for example, if you went with color, take a look at that. That's a whole new effect. Now you have some color showing. We do have another one like lighten, which will bring out even more color as well. You've got different types. You've got the color burn, which is again like a different kind of effect and so on. So feel free to play around with all these available options. Really, your limit is your creativity is basically your limit in this case. So I'm just gonna stick with normal because I'm a bit lazy, and I'm just gonna go ahead and hit update. So, well, there you go. We have successfully reworked the Why Walk With Us section. And as usual, if you have any questions, do let me know. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next class. Alright, so we've come to the final section we're going to improve with the Elementor Pro, and that's going to be the contact section. And over here, this is pretty basic. We've got a message, and we've got an email address, and some social media icons. So we can definitely make this look a lot better, and here's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to scroll all the way down here, and with Elementor Pro, we do have access to a particular element specifically for forms. It's right there. But before we do this, I'm going to drag and create an inner section first of all. So let's do this inner section. I'm going to drop that just beneath contact. All right. And now inside the very first column, I'm going to drag an actual basic element, which is the Google Maps. So let's drag that. Let's drop that in there. So over here, you obviously have the option of choosing your address. If you have a physical address, you can change the zoom, the height, and so on. But we're not really concerned about that. What we're really concerned about is going to be in the second column. And this is where we're going to add our Elementor Pro element of form. It's right there. Drag, and we're going to drop that in there. And voila, just like that, we have ourselves a form. Now you can choose to change the form name. So let's do this. I'm going to say this is the contact form. And over here by default, you've got 3 fields: name, email, message. If you click on an individual text, you will have access to the content. So you can change name, for example, to let's say an email. You can change the label. You can add a placeholder. You can make it required if you wanted to. And then under advanced, you have access to things like the custom ID, and then also the shortcode, which we'll talk about in just a moment. I'm going to click outside. So we've got email, message. You can add additional fields. You click in there, and then inside the field, under type, you can choose whether it's a text area, a URL, a checkbox, number, date, and so on and so forth. We're going to keep it simple. We'll just stick with the name, email, and message. All right, that's it for the form fields. Now, the submit button, you can also customize the text. I like send. I think it's pretty standard. You can, change the text to something else if you wanted to. Now, over here, actions after submit. This is very, very important. What happens once the user has hit the send or submit button? What happens? You click in here, and you have different kinds of actions. By default, you're going to have email, where you will receive an email. But you can also add other things like add a secondary email. You can redirect the user to some other page. You can add a webhook. And if you have like a mailing service like MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, you can include all of them in here if you wanted to. So depending on how many options you choose in here, you will see them stack just underneath email. So we've added MailChimp, so now we have access to the MailChimp option. And with MailChimp, we'll need to add an API key and then choose the list where we want to add this particular email to. But we're not going to stick with MailChimp. I'm going to remove that. We don't need MailChimp. So I'm just going to stick with the regular email. All right. And so for the email itself, we can customize this. Where would you like to send the email to? You can add your address in here. And then you can change the subject, the default subject. So I'm going to say new contact from website as an example. So every time someone sends me an email, I'll get the subject new contact from website. Now over here is the actual message you will receive. Now by default, it's been set to all fields. All fields mean the name, the email, the message will be displayed to you. However, you can customize how your message will look like by making use of the shortcodes. You see, every single field you have in here, whether it's name, email, the text area, they all have their individual shortcodes. Now, how do you get the shortcodes? If you go back to the form fields, say for example, let's go to name. Under name, you want to go to advanced. And then under advanced, you will see the shortcode. Here it is, field ID equals name. So I can copy this as an example. I can copy this and then I can go back to my email. And then in here, I can customize the message and say, this email is from, and then I can paste the shortcode. So the person's name will be here and so on and so forth. So you can customize your message by simply using the shortcodes. Now over here as well, from the email, you also want to customize this so that the from email will be from the person's actual email address. So to do this, let's go back again to form fields. Let's go to email, go to advanced, and we're going to grab the shortcode over here, copy that, go back to our email. And now over here, from the email, which is the email of the person that sent the email, I'm going to go ahead now and paste that one over there. And then of course the from name, you can add the field ID equals name so that the person's name will be displayed as the name of the person naturally. So you can add your CC, your BCC if you wanted to. You could also add some extra metadata such as the date, when the email was sent, the time, what page URL, the IP address, and so on and so forth. You can add all those in there. And then finally, you've got the send as either an HTML or as a plain text. All right. So that's it for the email. Now, finally, additional options in here. You could choose a unique form ID. And then you've also got the custom messages. What happens under certain kinds of scenarios? Like, for example, if the message was sent successfully by default, this is the message that will be displayed. You can customize that. You can customize that for required message, error message, invalid message, and so on and so forth. Okay, last thing I'm going to do here is to go to style, and I will change the background color for our fields. Let's go to field. Our background color here, I'm going to make that black. And there you go. I like that. I'm not going to make any other change. Feel free to play around with the typography, with the button. You can add your background color, text color, and so on and so forth. By now, I'm pretty sure you're already used to all these additional options. I'm going to go ahead now and update our contact form. And let's take a look at what we have. Let's scroll all the way down here to the contact section. And there you go. Awesome. So I'm going to make a few little changes. I'm going to make the map a little bit taller so it matches the height of our contact form. And I'm going to remove this text because we don't need that anymore. Let's do this. Let's go back to the Google Maps. So the height, let's make this so that it actually matches. Okay, there you go. It matches now the height of the form. Let's scroll down. We don't need this text anymore. So let's go ahead and delete that. We'll delete this one as well. And that is it. Let's go ahead now and update. And we will check this one more time. One more time. We're gonna celebrate. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. So that's the newly improved contact form. If you have any questions, as always, to let me know. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next class. Woo! Well, there you have it. We've come to the end of this long tutorial on how to use Elementor, and I sincerely hope that you've enjoyed the tutorial, you've learned how to use Elementor, and you feel confident now that you can build your website using this amazing page builder. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please do consider hitting the like button. It really does help. You can subscribe to the channel. I upload tutorials on YouTube as often as I can. And if you want to go with the paid version of Elementor, once again, please, one of the best ways you can support me is by buying the pro version of Elementor using my affiliate link in the description box below. Plus, also, I do have a paid course on Elementor where you learn even more about Elementor. In the paid course, I show you how to build posts using Elementor, how you can build login pages, how you can work with pop-ups, and so much more. So if you're interested in taking your Elementor skills to the very next level, you can consider enrolling in the paid version of my Elementor course. I will have all the links in the description box below. Also, don't forget I talked about a particular theme known as the Page Builder Framework theme. I will have a link in the description box below, linking you to a video where you can watch and learn how you can use this theme to work with either Elementor, Beaver Builder, whatever page builder you want to go with. So once again, it's been an absolute blast teaching you how to use Elementor, and I want to wish you all the very best for 2019. May this year be your best year ever. And this is Alex signing off, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.